last night to see if he was barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right.
Allegedly!
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Here's a brief disclaimer for tonight's show. Let's watch.
That's ignorant! Allegedly, that's ignorant! Ignorant.
Judgment, Alfred.
Boy, you read my thoughts. You've got the shinin.
You mean shining?
Shh! You wanna get sued?
Judgment, Alfred.
You just use that shin of yours to call me and I'll come a-running. But don't be reading my mind between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time.
Hey, yo, Bob. I love it when he does that.
Let's watch.
Don't get me back to good bullshit.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative, and it's so good to see everyone tonight. Thank you all so much for being here. Hey GA64, good to see you, and thank you so much for the green hearts. We are Sebastian's army. Thank you so much. That's so great. And hey Chuchi, thanks for being here. I did get your emails to Chuchi. I just need to look through them because we were doing some research on Devlin. And of course, you know, the time gets away from me as we were kind of going over all of the details. I still had questions, right? I'm still kind of processing through. So Town Chat Cafe and Panda Bear's mom were helping me process everything. And then we were asking each other questions too. So really good discussion. Hey, Ann Brock. And we're going to do a live stream. It'll be Thursday. at 1 p.m. Eastern time, though, just so everybody kind of knows, 1 p.m. Eastern. But I will try and schedule it after tonight's live or sometime tomorrow, just so I can get it scheduled early and set, because I think that we've ironed everything out. Good to see you, Panda Bear's mom. So yeah, I think it'll be good. I think you guys will really enjoy it. I think it'll get you excited about the case and spread some awareness, because Devlin's been missing for 5 months. And so good to see you, Kiki. Thanks for being here. Snuggles. Yeah, Snuggles is horrible. He doesn't say anything, does he? He is not the greatest sheriff for the people, in my opinion. You know, I'm not saying he doesn't have other skills, but there's that. Hey, Damaris, good to see you. Also, Cece, so good to see you. Annalisa P, thanks for being here. Oh, drive safely, drive safely. Let's see. Hey, Star Kisses, good to see you. Thank you for the green hearts. Thanks for the green hearts too, Cece. So tonight I want to go over. Thank you so much, Chuchi. Yeah, today was crazy. And then I was also, while we were talking, I was doing laundry and making and making some dinner. So um, I was busy today, between lives. So and then I did get the video, Miss Ann, from you. I didn't get a chance to look at it yet, but I'm sure it's going to be a great demo in order for us to kind of see how bright a little keychain flashlight really gets, and see if that would be something that would be seen from, say, a few, 10 yards, 15, 20 yards away, right? I don't know. I'm horrible with measurements and stuff like that. You guys can tell me how many feet. I think Bob Crew went over that. So God for him when he does stuff like that. I'm like, oh, good, because I mean, I don't really like to calculate it. Just like kind of earlier, we were talking about Lily and Jack, and people measure in kilometers or kilometers in Canada, right, instead of miles. And so we figured out that 8 miles is equivalent to about, 8 kilometers is about equivalent to 5 miles earlier. So we had to Google that one. I think somebody in the chat found out for us. So tonight, I want to go over an old video that I made, and because it has so many comparisons in it, I thought it would be something that we could look through, kind of review again. And there's, inconsistencies. We also hear from Sheriff Eric Craddock, because this is the one where I'm asking you guys if you think he's one of the people that are polishing Katie and Chris up, right? um, in the polished turds way, right? Because that's kind of the vibe that I got, like trying to make people seem like they're better people. And, you know, sometimes that can happen, right? We just, especially if we know someone, we don't want to think that like someone that we went to a barbecue with, or someone that we've been friends with for a long time, are capable of doing something so horrible, right? And we really don't even want to go there in our minds, even when it's true, right? Sometimes, we want to think, okay, this isn't going to be as bad as the last case that we saw, right? Like even with Renesmee Yutzi, I was like pissed, right? When I looked up the update and I was like, this is ridiculous. Like this child was to be like terribly abused, right? And so was the little brother. He was so badly starved that he couldn't eat. When they brought him to the hospital and had him examined, he could not hold food down, and just horrifically abused in that case. And so nobody wants to nobody's mind goes there automatically, mine doesn't, at least. Hey, Nancy Fleming, good to see you. And it's not that I don't recognize that this stuff happens all the time, or that it can happen. It's just that you just don't ever want to think, um you want to think, oh, maybe the mother was overwhelmed. They had the four kids, and they thought they could take the kids on, but they couldn't. And so they were just overwhelmed, and maybe she did just walk off. But this was another case where the child was reported missing 2 a.m. Renesmee's 9 years old. She looked like she was 6. Same thing with her little brother, who was terribly starved. He was 6, but he looked like he was 3 or 4. So because the children were so malnourished, in the pictures you could totally see how badly emaciated they were. And then the one little girl's hair was completely chopped off, right? And when I see that, I think of Summer Wells. Like her picture was just like the one I have of Summer by the barrel. And then I have a picture of her with her long hair, and it's just so cute the way she has it styled there. She's just adorable. But, we saw a lot of pictures of Summer, and oh, this is another one I have back here too. Um, where they were obviously they're punishing her or something. And then this is the other one. I think this is her Christmas picture in this one. But she's just so cute. Um, so yeah, it's sad. And that's who I thought of when I saw Renesmee Utsi was Summer Wells. Especially when I saw her sister with the haircut, and they both had their haircuts very short, like pretty much buzz cut, right? And little girls don't typically like or have those kinds of cuts, right? Um, in my opinion, Mr. Snuggles needs to step down, so there can be a new sheriff in town, because Mr. Struggles is like a snake in a boot, in my opinion. Yeah, Chi, I agree. Um, we're gonna kind of go over. I'm not gonna go over all of it, but there is a whole live about Sheriff Craddock and his snuggle struggle comment, but there was more than just that. Like it was, if it was only that, and had he maybe like said LOL or ha 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 or something in the post, I would have thought, okay, well, he's just joking or something. He was young, he was being an ass, whatever. But there was several things that I found that were pretty concerning in terms of, the corruption. I mean, obviously now we know, um, Wally Gilliam is one of the sponsors for Pigfest, and he's an auctioneer and realtor in the area, pretty well known, friends with Craddock on Facebook. Craddock is friends with a lot of realtors, a lot of, people that I wouldn't expect him to be friends with. So yeah, the case is 100% torture. Elisa P, there's nothing like, I mean, nothing else can really describe it. It is systematic torture, starvation. Yeah, I don't know what the little boy's name is. They're absolutely monsters, CC. They're absolutely monsters. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's the trauma, and then, and plus you try to eat, so fast, it could make them sick as well. Hey, Holly, yes. So it's just so sad. It is just so sad. And that's their own family that did that to them. Um, the mother entrusted her family members to take care of them, and they didn't take care of them. And you know, I showed her, like, some grace in the beginning, but then I also made it a point to say, "Okay, now you need to get these other kids back or do whatever you have to do to protect them." So, I don't know. According to one of the either I think it was the lead detective or one of the, maybe it was the prosecutor, but he Or yeah, Elisa P, that was my assessment. I don't like to jump on somebody right away before I know, right? And so I was trying to be, you know, open-minded and let's see how the story kind of unfolds. But, you know, you realize that she was not trying to get her kids back, and that really fueled my fire that day too. That when I talked about the update on the case, I was like, I can't believe this, and of course she didn't try to get them back. And I mean, because you do have to jump through hoops for them. They're not going to just give you the kids back if they take them. um but you should always try to work to have a relationship with your kids, and that's what's sad, is that they had nobody. Because look, if she would have been able to see her kids, she would have known they were being starved, right? I mean, you could look at those children and see it. Hey, Kylie's nail candy, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. And I also got your email too. um Ann Reynolds says, I want to know what the F these parents think that they're doing to these children. And I lost my child last year in August, or August 4th. And this is awful. I cannot believe this. I know, Miss Ann. And that's it, I'm sure it just really gets people fired up that has lost their children, Um, yeah, absolutely. And it's amazing to me. I don't understand how they could do it, to any child, but let alone your own child. I think it has to be a self-loathing involved, Elisa, yeah, a bunch of dope addicted savages, that entire family. And that's really what it comes down to a lot of times, is just that right there. That's the explanation. Um, what a life, And it's like you do feel sorry for people in their circumstances, but it's very difficult, and that's what I was having a hard time with that day. It was difficult for me to have any type of feelings of, feeling bad for anybody but the kids. So I'm like, I don't care if people are upset with me or not, because then you find out all these kids were homeschooled. You find out that they were like you know, being hidden from people to see them and say, "Oh my gosh, these kids don't look well." And then the one baby looked very healthy. You know how babies are kind of chubby, and they're supposed to be like, I mean, you don't want your baby to be overweight and unhealthy, but in the same way, they're supposed to have those little chubby arms and they're supposed to be well fed. These children were severely, severely deprived of food, um, love, any of that. Oh, selling, the rugs in my, yeah, probably so. Probably so. Yeah, the whole entire family. And Elisa P, that's what the one guy was saying. I can't remember what his position was. I could actually picture his face in my head. I just can't think of what his name was. But yeah, he said the whole family is terrible. The whole family's terrible, and she could have had the kids back if she just tried. She got off of the drugs. That's what it comes down to on that, I think, too. Um, we will never know the half of the details. And look, they do cover the kids' faces, which, is a good thing. Um, it is. I can't say it's not, but then you always wonder, well, what about the little survivors of all of this, And we do wonder that because we care. And that's just the natural thing to worry about. Like you said, with all of the psychological damage and everything. Hey, Andrea, good to see you. You know, Yeah, and it just has to be infuriating. And I think for Miss Ann, anybody who's lost, their child, um, but it is for anybody as well, that just is a parent. You can't fathom it. You just can't. And I think, men and women feel that way. It's just like when a guy a good dad looks at Travis Decker and is like, "What a psycho." Like, because usually dads really love their daughters. There's a bond there, a special bond. Not that you don't have one with your son too, but I mean, most dads can't fathom what Travis Decker has done. Most mothers can't fathom Brittany Gosney, just leaving her children, saying to some guy, "Okay, I'd rather be with you." And this guy is not a prince, right? These people are not. It's not like you're being whisked away by Daddy Warbucks or anything. um, you're not being whisked away by your sugar daddy. This guy was like a scumbucket. And, not that I'm saying that would make anything better. It would be just as sick and, disturbing and perplexing. But, nevertheless, we see this real, like, I mean, scum bum. And she's like, "Oh, yeah, I left my kids out there because he said he's going to kick us out." So instead of leaving with the kids, I decided to leave them at a park, you know, in which case little James was killed. But I don't think that's the story. It just doesn't sit well with me. And I've thought a lot about little James. So, oh no, I hope he's feeling. Oh no. Hey Tracy, good to see you. I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, we'll be saying prayers for him. Oh my gosh. In my opinion, she was paid for being a mole. I think that's quite possible. Very well, very possible. Um, Bullhorn Betty, she actually does a lot of advocacy. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of creators that make a good amount of money on social media. Like I've even thought about putting my videos on Facebook. I know you can kind of multi-stream a little bit on TikTok. I'm not the best at TikTok. Um, but yeah, I support Bullhorn Betty. I think she does a really good job of yeah, she does. Yeah, she has. And she does a lot in government. Like I don't know how she does it. I really don't. Um, I don't know how she finds the time to do it all. So, thank you, Kylie. Thank you, Kylie. I gotta get on a tutorial with my daughter. She's really good at TikTok, and I'm sure she can show me a lot of things, how to do things on there. But I do have a TikTok. So if you guys want to follow me over there, I just don't have any content on there. I think I've shared some, I've probably shared Sebastian's flyer. Same thing with Instagram. I have an Instagram, and I have posted to like reels and stuff like that, but I'm not as active as I need to be. Yeah, she's very well, she does a lot. I can't even really, like, name everything that she does, you know, because she's just really, really good at what she does, and advocacy is something that not everybody can do, right? Because you have to really care a lot about someone else over yourself, um, you know, like our Panda Bear's mom here, like, I've seen her advocating for Devlin. Girl, I think every single chat that you're in, you talk about Devlin, you know, which it's getting people excited about it. Yeah. Yeah, and she's very she's very opinionated. She really is. I love that though. I love it when people are very passionate about what they are passionate about, you know. Even sometimes even if I disagree with people, I'm like, good job. At least you're doing something, right? Because everybody could sit around and complain all day, that's easy. Hey, Kiki, but finding a solution to things is more productive, makes you feel better. But yeah, people out there that are really making a difference, it's amazing to see. Um, it really is. All right, guys. So this is silly. Some of this is silly. I put memes in here. I used to make videos, just strictly make videos. But I kind of changed it, up a little bit when I do the lives, right? Because it's not really about the memes and stuff. It's more about telling the story, presenting, and that sort of thing. But I still love making videos. So that's what I'm working on, the big video for us to watch. But we are going to go over, hey, Bo, we are going to also go over, um, these interviews. So I just have to get them prepared and transform them, put a little music in the background or something in order to not get struck by the ones that don't like me and probably don't appreciate me playing the content. But you know what? This is the reason why I'm doing it, is to document it so we can go over it, right? Like, our opinions are our own. Everybody's going to have their own opinion. If I think something about a certain statement that the Proud Feet make, you might think something completely different, or you might tell me something that I didn't think of before. So I think that's really valuable. Um, and even if people come in here, we've had people come in and say, well, I don't agree with this, or, well, what about this? And we've talked it out and it didn't get hostile. So, I'm good with that. Um, we need to be able to speak, and communicate with each other in order to figure things out. Hey, Maui son, revisiting the turds. You guys are like, oh joy! I can't wait to get over to Lady Freedom's channel tonight. I might attract some unwanted attention. No, I'm just kidding. I really didn't know what to say tonight on the title. Except for this, because I thought, well, let's go over the last one, because I think we've gone over a couple of them, and it's just all comparison. Um, and that was a viewer. Somebody asked me to do that. They said, can you do a video with all of Chris and Katie, catching them in the inconsistencies? And I'm like, oh boy. And once I started it, it was like, a several part series, and I called it Polished Turds, because I thought, well, I mean, some of these people are trying to make them better than they are. The Duchess interview is, I mean, both of them were that way for me. That way they were. Also, when I looked at, some of the statements on Queen Bee, they knew that they shouldn't really be supportive. You know, I can tell there was some tension on the panel, or some like reluctance, especially when Katie said some of the silly things she would say. Um, we got a couple, like this, from some people on the panel, which is understandable. Honestly, it is, because it was a weird and awkward situation to be in. Um, but they weren't being candid about it. It's as if they were hiding something. And I think we should re-examine that. And I think we should go back from the beginning. And then also, Chuchi was like, well, what about making, a spreadsheet? So I was thinking about, I can take notes too while we listen, to the discussion, and, turn that information over into a spreadsheet. Um, hey, Bless, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Let's see here. And we just got some hellos. Okay, great. So I am caught up in the chat. So I'm just gonna start playing this out. And this is the one about Craddock. So it's gonna be about, the police. Oh, I'm so sorry, you guys. I have to share my screen. Hello. Wow, I guess I didn't have enough coffee. All right, here we go. So just bear with me here.
Think that is more feasible than any type of conspiracy. I honestly believe that
Oh, sorry, I don't want
Sheriff
that.
Weatherford saw the best in the
Obviously, this one.
Sorry, guys. Let me just pop this back just a little bit.
quick rundown of what I'm talking about. Do you think that Sheriff Craddock has been making Chris and Katie seem like better people than they really are? Or do you think that he's been doing a great job? Or do you have other opinions about the subject? Let me know in the comments. I'll let you know what I think at the end of the video. Let's watch.
I couldn't recall off the top of my head when the last search like this was. Obviously, this one is exponentially more important, being a child who does have autism. I can't imagine what those parents are going through right now. I can't imagine what those parents are going through right now.
The Sumner County Chief Deputy who just heard from there says Sebastian loves water and he loves to hide in small spaces. Sebastian is 5'5" and they say he's likely wearing all black. Now, many people tonight are asking how they can help. The Chief Deputy says as of now, there is no public search party, but he does ask anyone who lives in the area to check their Ring doorbell cameras. If they see anything on there, to call Sumner County.
The way the search is being conducted. Now, search party may come at a later time. What they can do right now is search their Ring doorbell cameras or their Blink cameras or whatever surveillance video they've got, especially if they're in this area. If they see Sebastian, call the Sumner County Emergency Communication Center at 615-451-3838 and let us know.
For some good news.
Mom was at the house. We've interviewed her. She's obviously distraught, as any parent would be. I couldn't imagine what she's going through currently.
Yeah, the fact that Sebastian has autism is causing extra concern in this case.
I've actually been allowed into some neighborhood Facebook pages, and we're following those and communicating with them. And they've got watches going on in the neighborhoods. A lot of people, review your camera footage and see if you get someone that matches Sebastian's description, and we'll come look at it.
Say there have been absolutely no signs of foul play and really no signs of Sebastian Rogers at all. No confirmed sightings of him on any surveillance camera or doorbell camera, and first responders haven't found any evidence in the woods or water or even his home, which they say they have searched 10 times. Now, the one thing investigators did say they found were tracks leading away from Sebastian's home, but they say that lead fell up short.
Like I said, we're operating under the assumption that Sebastian walked off. We have no evidence to disprove that.
Law enforcement telling us that the family is cooperating with authorities, and they again are under the assumption that Sebastian walked away from home.
Expecting any moment right now an update on the search for that missing teenager, Sebastian Rogers. Let's listen live.
Here in a few moments, I'll go through some slides and show you what we've done over the past 4 days of searching. Really want to come to the community and ask for your help. We need you to search your properties every day, morning and night. If there's a shed or a crawl space or up under your mobile home or a tarp that's in your yard, check it every morning and check it every night. Look for any details that something has been disturbed. If there's a shirt that was there today that wasn't there yesterday, notify us. You can really help us by searching your own property twice a day. Like I said, we're operating under the assumption that Sebastian walked off, and we really need your help to ensure that he is brought home safely.
Chief, I know you guys had asked for doorbell cam and surveillance camera. Have you guys been able, since Sunday night, Monday morning, been able to actually put eyes on Sebastian? Has any video actually shown him walking?
We have had several clips that have come in. Several of them we've been able to dispel that's not Sebastian on that clip. We are still working every lead that comes in. So as the video comes in, our detectives, we're working really well alongside the TBI and all of our other law enforcement partners in the region to make sure that we're getting on them just as quickly as possible.
But there hasn't been one video that you guys have had that you said that's...
There's not a confirmed sighting of Sebastian on camera. Gotcha.
Was any of the canines able to pick up on a scent or something that can lead you to maybe a direction where he might have been?
We've done that. We've actually cast the dogs at intersections to see if they take us. And our dogs are scent specific, and we have scent articles from the home, and they have not. We have gotten some tracks away from the home, and we haven't had anything that leads us to Sebastian, obviously.
You mentioned that you've covered about 2,000 miles, correct? What's the word on the amount of volunteers and people helping?
We'll address that later. We've still got plenty of, and what you got to understand is span of control and manageability. And I know there's a lot of talk out there. You need to get more people out there, but we've got to do it coordinated, and we've got to be able to monitor and ensure the safety of our searchers. So right now we've got so many public safety assets that we can track and we can communicate with that we are in good shape right now. And we are discussing the possibility of going into volunteers.
We have begun the conversation of coordinating with local volunteer groups. Should we need them, there's a plan in place. What I don't want is to have 1,000 people out in the woods, someone get injured, and now we have to deploy resources to them that should be deployed to get Sebastian home safely. As of right now, I've talked to the FBI, I've talked to world-renowned detectives from the Middle Tennessee area, and every one of them has said we're doing.
Okay, guys, excuse me, sorry. Okay, so world-renowned detectives, we already went over this, but when I Googled world-renowned detectives in Middle Tennessee, I thought that, I might get a list of a couple of people that, maybe Sheriff Craddock could have talked to. But Google told me that he was exaggerating that statement. And I mean, I'm telling you, artificial intelligence and all of this crap that we we could just plug this into our phones. It's quite hilarious, right? And that's what Google told me. Google was like, "Look, this guy is bullshitting you, girl. Who you listening to?" I'm like, "That's what Sheriff Craddock said, Google. That's what Sheriff Craddock said." I mean, I just Googled it, y'all. That's all I did. I just Googled it. Checked it out. Our dogs are scent specific is the key wording in that statement, C. Taylor. Absolutely. It is. And, Katie was saying that they brought cadaver dogs out, and she was saying that they they brought all these different dogs. Chris was talking about the dogs, which made Kiki and I start talking about the dogs too, because we're looking at some of that research as well. It's quite ridiculous that they wanted us to believe, this crap. Um, it's unbelievable. Really, it's unbelievable. So let's see here. I saw another comment that I wanted to pop up here and talk about. Oh, here we go. Um, no exaggeration. No exaggeration from Craddock. Say it isn't so. I mean, and there's not world-renowned detectives there. I'm here to tell you. Google got snarky back with me. I was like, "What?" Babs, good to see you. Babs says you're good at the Googling. LOL. Google. Yeah, I'm good at Googling stuff. I'm not too bad. Um, Snarky Kiki. That's hilarious. Yes, you be snarky. This is a good one to be snarky for because, we do have Sheriff Snuggle Struggles up here talking. And, the mayor was there. We got Ken Widener. The lady, she was public relations or something like that for TBI. We didn't even get a detective from the TBI to come out for the presser, and they didn't hold very many pressers. It was very, I don't know if the word is relaxed. I don't know. It's sloppy, quite sloppy, in my opinion. C. Taylor says in sense specific, looking for Sebastian based on articles that were given. What were those articles? C. Taylor, they told Nancy Grace that, and I don't know how true it was, but they said, we gave the clothes that Sebastian wore to the Texas Roadhouse to the searchers or to the to the non-specific dogs that were run by Ken Widener. We saw him running those dogs. Day 5 is when he ran the dogs. And I know there were other dogs, but that's when I saw him with the I think it was a bloodhound. So there's zero world-renowned detectives in Tennessee, Elisa P. And it's funny because, like, I never thought of that before, and then I was like, "Oh, that's weird that he would say that," and then I'm like, "Well, how many do they actually have in Middle Tennessee?" Um, I mean, you gotta think about what the resources are and, being realistic. Kiki says he would probably run if someone yelled boo. I feel that guy is always stands behind Crappick, his control over him like a puppet, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I mean, I'm thinking that Craddock is very afraid to talk to people, um, which is odd because he does public speaking events, right? We saw him at Northwestern University and they were doing a public speaking event, right? Um, at the college. So it's weird that he won't, I think he's guilty and that's why he doesn't want to talk to anybody, in my opinion. Hi, SI officer, good to see you. Oh, you're not too late. We're just kind of in the beginning, we were just kind of talking away here. Yeah, he did eat up everything CP and KP fed him. Yeah, from day one. Yeah, you sir, no professional, in my opinion. You don't know what you don't know. Yeah, he doesn't know. He's pretending to not know what he does. Yeah, I agree. I'm wondering if you don't know what you do know, in my opinion. Yeah, I think he's guilty of knowing what's up here. He's got to be. He has the footage. He has more of the footage than we do. In my opinion. So, um, yeah. Yeah, it's gotta be guilty knowledge, it does. Kylie Snow Candy, it's gotta be guilty knowledge. Hey, Kelly Holcomb, good to see you. Yeah, we could tell by the face, and he gets very, defensive, right? Off the bat. He does. Oh, really? Nancy Fleming says a few years back, there was a Craddock got in trouble in Churchill, Tennessee. Oh, really? Hmm. Yeah, they have much better footage than we do. Much, much better footage than we do. Absolutely. His face says it all. It does. And he gets snarky. I talk about snarky. We'll watch.
Everything that we should be doing. We're doing everything that we can. I'm open to ideas. If someone's got an idea that we're not applying yet, let me know. I'll apply it.
You guys have clocked in and searched so far?
2,000 by foot the first 2 days. We're not tracking hours now. We'll put all that together. We'll do an after action report. But now we're going through the day, preparing this afternoon for tomorrow. We've got a team that's doing that. We've even got the tax assessor's office working with us on additional mapping for streams and creeks that we want to make sure we're covering.
I hate to cut you guys off, but I'm really focused on getting Sebastian home, and we need to get back out and make sure we're doing everything we can. I really appreciate you guys being here covering the story. And as soon as there's an update, I'll let you know. Thank you. Thank you.
As the search for 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers now enters day 4. At this point, they say Sebastian walked off. The family is cooperating with the investigation.
Now, we do know, despite the 5-day search, investigators say there have been no confirmed sightings of Sebastian on surveillance cameras or doorbell video, and there's been no evidence found in the woods or bodies of water. And law enforcement have reiterated that their parents have been fully cooperative and there's no reason to believe any foul play.
The Sumner County Sheriff's Office tells us that a group of local investors invested a minimum of $3,000 toward any information that would help investigators in finding Sebastian Rogers. I now want to bring in EMA Director with Sumner County, Ken Widener. Ken, as we near this week-long search effort, where are you focusing starting today?
Well, we keep expanding. So we've expanded west and we're expanding north. We just keep expanding the search area and we're bringing different teams in. Yesterday we had a group from East Tennessee come in. They're mountainous experts and they do caves, and so we've had any cave that we've marked, we've had them in those caves. The city of Gallatin has done all the storm drains in the area with cameras. So we keep expanding and just throwing everything that we can at it to try to get him located. We're close to 5 miles now. Now the further south you go towards Hendersonville, we get into the city, and we would expect he would be located or seen if he were in the city. And we've gone into the city, sort of in the fringe, in the more not as urban areas of Henderson, but we've been all the way to the lake on the streams that travel to the lake. We've been to the lake. We had 330 on the ground, and we'll run the numbers later today on how many come in today, and we run that as the day goes on.
And 43 years in law enforcement, you told me, what does this experience look like in terms of people coming together to help out in this one mission to find Sebastian Rogers?
Well,
Okay, guys, I just want to pop in really quick. I'll kind of rewind it a little tiny bit. But yeah, so they brought in cave experts to search because there were a couple of caves in question that Sebastian may have, could have gotten to. And so they did bring in experts to search the caves and things like that. They also put like cameras down into the sewers and stuff and looked down in there as well. He absolutely does, Elisa P. He acts like he's defending the family. Yeah, everybody, nobody likes the chomping from Craddock, Um, yeah, Robini, that's a good point. We've seen smaller, less affluent neighbors come up with larger reward as well. It's like the neighborhood doesn't care, in my opinion. Yeah, and that's what's really, really sad. Um, I agree, and it's frustrating as well because we don't expect to see that. Um, yeah. Hey, Carla, good to see you. So good to see you. I wonder how many times did he bit his tongue. I know. It would be extremely hard, especially, but again, the reporters don't really ask too many follow-up questions, which I'm a little curious about. Um, it's kind of odd there too. Um, and he's divulging a lot more information, Ken Widener is, than the reporters even asking, here, especially here. Good to see you, Carla. Thanks for hitting the like button. Thank you guys so much that are coming in. Welcome in, everyone. Um, that's so true, Robini. Great point. Look what the little tiny community did for Jaden Spicer. So heartwarming. I agree. Yeah, everyone came out, So, what's up with y'all? Says Joe. What's up, Joe? Good to see you. All right, guys, here we'll start the.
But one thing about Tennessee and the Southeast is we're always going to have people that want to help, and we get calls from across the state for people that want to come in and help us. And the thing that we've got to do is be able to manage that. So we track everybody that's on the ground. The first 2 days we did 2,000 miles of people walking, and we haven't run those numbers for the entire duration of this operation, but. Yeah, it's great, and to be able to call in specialized groups that do the things that we can't do is really good.
And what keeps you going as you near like this? You're keeping going after this week just to find Sebastian Rogers. How do you keep going, you and your team?
Oh yeah, just the drive to find him. We'll go talk to the parents in a little while, and every morning we sit and talk to them. We want to do everything for them and for Sebastian to get him located.
Also check those cameras, like they said, Sunday to Monday, Sunday afternoon to Monday morning.
Now 1 week.
Okay, guys, so they did say they did change the times to check the cameras. So they're like, check back to Sunday morning, because before it was, Sunday evening into the next day, but then they were asking people to go back. So I just kind of want to point that out. And now we're back into about a week into the search. They're still searching at this point.
After Sebastian vanished from his Sumner County home, authorities are scaling back the search effort, and they are now calling it an investigation.
Nick Barris shares the latest details, and we also hear for the first time publicly today from the missing teen's mother and stepfather.
The original thinking was that Sebastian Rogers left home on his own, but the fact that he disappeared without a trace now has authorities looking into the very real possibility of foul play. Consider 7 days of intense searching from the ground and air. Hundreds of officers and citizens, bloodhounds, and nothing. No security video of the teen and no trace of Sebastian.
We're used to producing, and this is one of those cases that we haven't been able to produce yet. We're scaling it back a little bit.
What exactly does that mean? Well, sources close to the case confirm authorities are now considering foul play and that this missing teen case could become a criminal investigation. Sebastian's mother and stepfather broke their silence, talking about how he disappeared from their home overnight a week ago Sunday. The two spoke on a YouTube podcast, Missing Tennessee with Duchess.
And when I went to wake him up for school, he wasn't here.
Between the hours of 12 and 6, he has basically vanished. Walked out of the house, the door was locked, and gone.
He didn't take a phone. None of his shoes are missing.
Authorities have named no suspects and say that to date, the parents have fully cooperated with the investigation. Detectives now will re-interview and vet everyone that had contact with Sebastian, looking for any inconsistencies. And they are asking the public to provide any Ring camera videos, not just from Sunday night when they believe he disappeared, but of anything suspicious of much earlier in the day.
Roger. Hey, good afternoon. I'm Eric Craddock from the Sumner County.
All right, guys, I just wanted to pop back in here. So Bless says, in my opinion, we haven't seen the entire flashlights video, right? But what we've seen is people coming from the Proudfoot home to a vehicle at 3 a.m. Is this still considered a runaway case? See, that's the problem, Blessed, is that, they're showing only the light sources leaving. They don't show them coming back. It's just like on America's Most Wanted. They showed only up into a certain point in the video and then asked the panel to weigh in. But they didn't see the rest of the video as we know it. And, you're right. I agree with that. We haven't seen the entire flashlight video, and it should be in Sebastian's case file. It's tough because it would be very hard to prove at that angle who that was in the night, right? So I think that's where the holdup is, but they've come out and said that it's nothing. So it's very frustrating. And I've boycotted America's Most Wanted because of it. I really have. It's bullshit to me, because how are you going to show only one part of the video? So it's super frustrating. Kiki says, I can't make this crap up, y'all. The woman's 70, done a background check. Kiki, my ass would be at the school. Oh my gosh, girl. They'd be like, here she comes again. Oh Lord. No, but you do have to, you have to advocate for the kids, especially when adults are saying those kinds of things to the kids. I mean, I guess you have to explain, safety, but you don't have to use such a harsh analogy. This is a problem, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Kelly says, keep telling that devil to get thee behind you. Even further, Kiki. Kelly. Oh, that is weird to tell her that. That is weird. I would not think to, doesn't she have to get back to class and that lady's telling her a story like that? What the hell? Bless says this community needs clarity from law enforcement now. This is absolutely ridiculous. I know. And that's the problem. And they just don't want us to talk about it anymore. It's like, but why do you care anyway? I mean, so what? If I get 2,000 people to view the video, that's 2,000 people that might know the truth a little bit better. I mean, that's what's so sad, is that we're having to present the truth, over and over and over again, because they're denying it and they're law enforcement. And that's what really frustrates me about them. I'm sure there's a plethora of things about us that frustrates them. I mean, I've made fun of Craddock several times. I always make fun of him and, make him be the guy that wears the short shorts on Reno 911, because it makes me laugh. and because, he can be such a butt, you know? And so Kiki says these people in Tennessee's nuts. Our French show poodle, she'll say, I don't drink the water. you know. So yeah, the one running back to the house can only be Katie, Carla. That's the whole problem. Like that's what's so frustrating about the whole thing. It's like it's ridiculous. Oh, they're never going to release the Epstein files, Joe. They won't. They will not do it. They will not do it. Okay, guys, so we're back at March 4th, right? And this is where they're telling us that they're scaling the search back. And this is going to be important when we review the Duchess for the missing interview.
Sheriff's Office, and I'm the Chief Deputy here, joined by Ken Weiner, the Director of Sumner County EMA. Wanted to come to the public and give you guys an update on the search for Sebastian Rogers. Last Monday morning at about 6:30, Sebastian was reported missing from his home. Since then, we've conducted an extensive and exhaustive search around the home, looking for any evidence, any trace of Sebastian. At this time, the decision's been made to scale back on the ground search operations. Let me be clear that this does not diminish our commitment to finding Sebastian. This is simply us transitioning from the ground search to the investigative side. We are still committed to finding Sebastian and bringing him home safe. We have no leads, no details to indicate that Sebastian is not alive. We are going to follow up on every lead. We have a planned response if anyone has a sighting of Sebastian. Our patrol deputies will be out. Our investigators will be out. We are still coordinating with law enforcement across the state. We are still consulting with experts. This decision does not come lightly. We have consulted with, and I've deferred to the experts in search and rescue. Every time we've asked, they've said you've done everything you can do. At this time, Director White.
So we'll continue.
I do want to just pop in really quick and say that, Sheriff Craddock is telling us, we've done everything we can do. We've consulted with world-renowned Middle Tennessee people, right? Detectives, and they've told us that we've done everything. What a crock of crap. And then look at his face. He like stares, he does the 1,000, yard stare. It's like, what the hell is going on? And Carla, I am tired. I'm very tired, but it's okay. I got coffee, but yes, I am tired. I am tired. I've been trying to do the research on Devlin's case, kind of like a crash course, which I couldn't be working with two better people on it, so I'm glad for that. But but yeah, no, I shouldn't be getting sick. I think it's just because I'm talking so much, and that's probably it. But why don't they tell us who searched the caves, not just someone from East Tennessee? Right. Well, they said they brought in like cave experts, right? But then but I mean, and it does make you question everything, when you figure out, okay, well, I was lied to about that crap. It's like that's why, what we know now, it's going to be so much different looking at these interviews and examining them. I saw Dan Bongino at Charlie Kirk's funeral, Joe. I think that was Dan Bongino. I'm pretty sure it was him. Yeah, I need like a double, triple Starbucks. Okay. Here we
have a command post at the fire station there. We won't man it 24/7, but we will have K9 units in the area. We'll have teams ready to go. The sheriff's office will have deputies on patrol, and if we get any report, we'll respond to that location. We'll send K9 to that location and search teams should we get any information. So we will continue, and any tips we get, we will reactivate to the level we need to respond with.
If there was a resource we thought we could utilize to help locate Sebastian, we've used it. And we will continue to do so based on the leads that come in. The Sheriff's Office continues to urge families to check your properties. to check your cameras. No detail is too small. If you have a detail that you think is important, please call 615-451-3838. Thank you.
Do you have any idea what may have happened here?
I haven't been, I don't know. I mean, I got a phone call and a text message that I received after I got off of work stating that I needed to give the stepfather a call. I called him and he was like, Sebastian's missing. Don't be upset or anything, but you need to come to the house. I couldn't. I don't know what happened to him. I haven't seen him in over a month. I've been out here looking for him.
Seth, I mean, what do they think happened? I mean, could he really have just walked away like that? It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. His shoes are still by the front door. His switch was there. His phone was in the kitchen. It just didn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And I still can't figure it out. I've been looking everywhere, been handing out flyers, been just trying to keep up hope. And I've reached out to United Cajun Agent to sit there and see if they will help me. And they answered my call.
Yeah, one thing I couldn't understand is why they were telling people not to search at one point. I mean, the shift went to the landfill.
They haven't told me anything, and they told people not to search, but I've been searching since that Monday. I can't just sit around and not do anything. I've got to find my son.
Have you talked to Sebastian's mom, stepdad? You mentioned you had that conversation when they said, he's gone missing, but have they been able to give any more information?
I haven't spoken to them for at least 2 weeks. They're not talking to me.
There are reports that they have packed up an RV and left the house that Sebastian disappeared from. Any idea why they would do that?
I have no idea. I have no information. They weren't talking to me, so I was out here trying to find my son.
And you're headed back to Memphis right now. Are you in your RV right now?
I am in my RV. We are not disclosing our current location just because of safety reasons due to the YouTubers, the Facebookers out there that have sent some very heinous, threatening information and things of that nature, threatening to be outside of our house.
Facebookers, sorry.
All kinds of nasty things. So we're not disclosing our location at this time unless you're law
Ms.
enforcement.
Proudfoot, is
or
that
you need
one
to-
of the reasons you left the home?
One of them, yes, ma'am.
Do you feel that they were taking good care of him?
I've got information from podcasts that they were showing that horrified me.
What do you mean? I mean, were they on podcasts or? I'm sorry, I know this is upsetting, but I just want to understand.
They were going on podcasts and it was like, it's supposed to be about Sebastian. They wanted to talk about themselves. I don't get that. We need to get Sebastian's face out to everybody. Have them looking for Sebastian. This isn't about me. It's not about his mom. It's not about his stepdad. This is about Sebastian. He needs to be found.
Now you're getting it. Shit, you better get yourself a YouTube channel, buddy.
Yeah, I'm going to call it Swanger and Banger and Hookers.
You are not.
Pineappers.
Pineapple. Yeah. Oh, no, y'all don't want to hear the discussions that go on up in there.
Y'all are
God,
making
no.
a mess.
That right there, that's a... Yeah, the kids under the age of 21 would not be allowed to hear that.
Have they been searching at all? I mean, I know you're out there right now. Have his mom and stepdad been out there too?
I can't answer that question. I don't know. I haven't seen them. They've not been where I've been handing out flyers or searching. So I couldn't tell you what they've been doing. It doesn't. It does not make any sense. If he knew he was going to go out walking or anywhere in the yard or whatnot, he would put on socks and shoes. He had a horrible experience as a child with fire ants. He learned it's always socks and shoes, or at least something on your feet to protect you from what's on the ground.
He has allergies, kick his butt, because he's allergic to grass. So whenever the grass is pollinating, his allergies get really bad for him. As far as any like serious allergies like peanuts or anything like that, no, we haven't found any food allergies. Just being picky about some stuff, but no, he's outside of grass pollen.
Right.
We really don't know any other allergies.
He's allergic to schoolwork, chores.
Yeah, homework and chores. There's a serious aversion there, but
He's
yeah,
doing that.
wearing deodorant. Well, that's something that we'd been really, really working on, because other people had been like, "Is he wearing deodorant, Mom?" And I was like, "I mean, I'm trying." It's a recent development too. I mean, he's gone through a growth spurt, and it was like overnight I blinked and he had like a little mustache growth coming in, and all of a sudden he was starting to smell and his voice is changing and his hair's getting darker. Like it's turning darker, which is why like in some pictures it looks brown, but it's really kind of blonde. But in his eyebrows, he went from like just these like real light eyebrows to, it was like overnight he got big old dark eyebrows. He's really coming into his hormones, and literally, I think he grew an inch in a month.
Did his feet grow too?
2 shoe sizes. That's why in the beginning there was all that talk about the shoes, and it was like, how does she know? Like, how do you know? Like, well, because he literally just outgrew them all. And we were in the process of replacing them. We started off with, 80 shoes and, a new pair of boots. And, we didn't buy sandals yet because it hadn't turned warm yet. And so I told him, I said, when the weather gets warm, we'll buy them then, because who knows if you're going to grow more in another month.
Okay, guys, and I just want to pop in here and say that when I was watching, or excuse me, I was listening to the Duchess for the Missing interview, and I was kind of trying to, just cut some of it out, the parts that weren't really important. It's amazing because, Chris and Katie say about the shoes that they, because I think the shoes are a big mistake that they've made in this whole situation were the shoes, right? But I know that Seth said that he had bought Sebastian new shoes, right? Which is the boots, excuse me, which is fine. But Katie was saying, oh, he needed new shoes. He needed new shoes to Seth. She buys him an immediate new pair of shoes. But she fails to mention who bought the boots on Queen Bee, even though on Duchess for the Missing, Seth was a great dad. Seth was, everything's great. This is not your typical divorce, Chris says to Duchess. We get along great. We're all hunky dory, right? Nothing to see here. When, Katie can't even admit in May that, Seth was the one that bought him the boots, right? His father bought him boots and I bought him shoes right away. We realized he needed new shoes, so that we got them for him. I still don't believe that his feet grew 2 sizes in a month, like she says here, but yeah. Well, it will be interesting. I hope that they realize that we are going to wear the flyers on on our t-shirts and our bag, and yes. Holly S says Justin had said on one of his shows that he spoke to some teachers and they were concerned about him not being able to have access to hygiene products or something going on with his hygiene. Yeah, and Katie liked to, instead of, making sure that he takes a bath on Sunday night, especially when you have a full day of running around, right? And that's the thing with Katie. She it's almost like she thinks it's funny, and it's a reason, to laugh and poke fun at Sebastian, and oh, haha, he's just going through puberty. No, that's not it, you know? I mean, I guess it's part of it, but he needs to be showering and using deodorant as a teenager. He does. It's really, really sad. That's so sad, Holly. I do remember Justin saying something to that effect as well. Mm, you know. So Katie's probably trying to cover up for that, for a similar. Yeah, and that makes sense too, right? Just in case somebody brings it up. Yeah, similar to what she did with the lights. She's full of it, in my opinion. I agree, Holly S. And I think they were definitely watching all of these. I mean, I think they watch all of the podcasts that are about them, but I think they were really watching the experts to see what they were saying. You know what I mean? And then, of course, to see what we were, the rest of us were saying, if we'd make fun of Chris or whatever, or make fun of Katie for changing her accent, because those are like just, normal things that we can do, that we can point out, right? I mean, that's the easy stuff. But I think they were looking at the experts and seeing what they were saying, as well, and then adapting according to it, right? And I do think, yeah, I absolutely think that. So, all right, guys, here we'll be back to the polished turds.
But, I mean, he literally, like, it was like he went to his dad's, and then not even a week later, he's like, "Mom, my shoes don't fit." And I was like, "But those are new." And he's like, "My toes are in the front." And I was like, "Oh Lord, get in the car." Oh, it's so crazy. So crazy. Like I was not ready for puberty at all.
And I'm the Chief Deputy at the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. I'll be joined today by Susan Nyland, SUSAN-NILAND, of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. She's the PIO. I also have with me Sumner County Emergency Management Director Ken Widener, KenWeidner. You guys ready? All right. Morning. I'm Eric Craddock with Sumner County Sheriff's Office, and we're going to come to you today with an update on the Sebastian Rogers case. Sebastian has been missing since late February. The tip that comes in. As I said before, the investigation remains ongoing. The entire community is deeply saddened by what has occurred. We're all extremely concerned for Sebastian's welfare. I want to encourage the community to stay vigilant, to report anything that they think may be of some significance to the investigation, no matter how minute it may appear to be to you. Please call 1-800-TBI-FIND with any tips, or the Sumner County Emergency Communications Center at 615-451-3838. We understand the anxiety and the concern that this case has caused in the community. We too share the anxiety and concern for Sebastian. I want to reiterate that we are doing everything we can to find Sebastian and bring him home. Despite the passage of time, the commitment to finding Sebastian remains unwavering. I said this when we scaled the search back. Our commitment to finding Sebastian remains. We will continue to investigate every possible lead that comes in. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office wants to express our gratitude to the community and the many individuals who have helped in the search, the many individuals who have called in tips, the many individuals who have printed flyers and kept Sebastian's face in the news. Nothing would make me happier than to wake up tomorrow morning with a tip that cracks this case wide open and we find Sebastian and bring him home. At this time, I'll turn it over to Susan Nyland from the TBI.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for being here. We know how invested everybody is in the search for Sebastian, in finding out what happened to him and bringing him home. And we want to let everybody know he has not been forgotten. Nobody's forgotten about him. Nobody has given up looking for him. At the beginning of this investigation, there was a large land search for him. It was very visible. There were also waterways, lakes, ponds that were searched. There were aerial searches with helicopters and drones and fixed wing planes. They were done at night. They were done on weekends. They were done during the day. That was very visible, and it was something everybody was able to see. But we want to let you know that even though there is not that high visibility in investigating this case that we are not done. It's gone back to what could be considered good old-fashioned police work. Interviewing individuals, re-interviewing individuals, checking out leads, rechecking leads. We have been working with other law enforcement agencies who have had, in other jurisdictions, who have perhaps had some complex cases of their own that they've worked on to get tips from them. We have had, this day of technology with everyone having cell phones and doorbells and ring bells and surveillance cameras. That, as you can imagine, has been a bit of a chore to be able to collect all those and then review them. It's important so we know what's out there. We have been reviewing that, reviewing it again. We have had other agencies involved. The FBI has been helpful in that. Secret Service has also been helpful in that. So we are just trying to do whatever we can to advance the investigation. It has not gone to a place where anybody has forgotten about him or is not pursuing this. The parents have been cooperative throughout. At the beginning of the investigation, they have pretty much done whatever law enforcement has asked of them. At this point, we don't have any evidence. There is not any kind of an indication that there is a criminal element involved. But we are keeping options open. We don't know what has happened. We don't know where Sebastian is right now. So we are pursuing any and all avenues. We do want to caution there are some social media elements out there who purport to have information that is direct from the investigation. I just want to reiterate that is not the case. Some of the information that is being provided on some of the social media channels is inaccurate and distraction, because a lot of what has been out there in some of the social media channels has been rumors and speculations and theories, and some of that has been advanced and people have caught a hold of it as if it's what's really happening. That has resulted in us getting information that is either, like I said, distracting. It's taking away time and effort from what the agencies need to be doing as far as looking for Sebastian.
I guess what's her name? Bullhorn Betty. I forgot. But anyways,
we currently have there's a litigation between Cross Motion. She's suing us, and Queen's got a countersuit against her. Let's just say that much.
okay, so I will be careful in what I am saying. However, I think to me it's very interesting how her dynamics, how like her little spin on things, and kind of like her and JLR were a group at one point. I guess they split apart, but her notoriety and JLR's, I think, came from the Gabby Petito case, if I remember correctly. I may be off.
Yes,
but
that's where that is Betty and JLR. That's where YouTube met Betty and JLR.
Yep.
During Gabby Petito down at Brian Laundrie's home.
So I sit there and I wonder, like, if can she do some actual good without having to do all the things that she's done in the past? I don't know. So I guess I don't know. In a way, you kind of almost, some of these creators should probably go take a few classes in law before they start doing some things.
Well, she knows.
They might be able to know what they're doing. She knows what she's doing in Florida. But
No.
all right, so here's a funny little thing. People can look this up. It's great. Tennessee, a couple years ago, back when there was all this rioting, people stepping in front of the interstates, blocking traffic, there were several states across the country that passed a law. If you're impeding traffic and you get ran over, that's on you. And Tennessee was one of those states that adopted that. And it sucks that that they don't really understand it, like, because you don't go somewhere that you don't know the laws and expect to have all the freedoms you think that you're entitled to or that you think that you get because you made a mistake and went, oops, I was dumb and didn't know something. And well,
I'll keep my responses about this BHB because on this channel I don't like her.
Unfortunately, our hands are really tied. We can't tell you what.
No, I don't want you to, because one, I don't want to. Litigation is litigation. That stays outside of. My thing with Bullhorn Betty is, I think she's very quick to jump to an opinion.
Yeah.
But she's never once actually as far as I know, actually reached out to have a conversation with me. I mean, people send me clips of her, and it's been interesting. But I wish her the best. I don't wish negative on people. I don't.
We have had so far, as of this morning, 314 tips that have come in through the tip line. It's been mentioned, but I'll say it again. It's 1-800-TBI-FIND. We are also taking tips through email, which is tips to TBI, TBI, at tbi.tn.gov. What's next? We want people, as Chief Deputy said, to continue to
say that when you send an email there, they do send a notification that they received it, but they also say that the tip email is not manned or anything like that. So it's just for the public to send in tips to. So it's not like they get around to them anytime soon, is kind of what I gathered from it, and Kiki, again, thank you so much for your super sticker too, for the coffee fund. Thank you. I don't know if I thanked you whenever I stopped the live the last time. So, but yeah. So I mean, and this lady is Susan Nyland. She is just the public relations person for the TBI. She's not, one of the detectives on the case. Just so everybody knows, the truth, because I looked her up.
remain vigilant, get Sebastian's picture out there, continue to share his picture, his information. Now that it's getting to be nicer, well, not today with the weather, but now that the weather has turned warmer, people may be more inclined to be in their yards. If you go out and see anything that looks different, let us know. Something where perhaps a teenager could have hidden. If you have a large amount of property in the area, or something that has any kind of holes or unstable footing or ledges where a teen could have gone to hide or to play, and you don't feel comfortable checking it out, let us know. We'll get somebody from law enforcement to go out there with you, or to check it out themselves. We just want to make sure that every stone is unturned, that there's no stone left unturned, that we want people to make sure that we are looking everywhere we can. We do want to continue to get the tips, but please don't provide information that you might have seen through social media channels. If you have information about Sebastian, about conversations you might have had with him, things he likes to do, places he likes to go, any people he may have mentioned that are in his life, that could be helpful in finding out maybe what he was interested in.
He's weird. Like when he first got glasses, it was really difficult to transition and to get it.
All right, guys, I just want to stop it right there. She goes, he's weird, right? I want to play that again really quick. Talking about her son, Sebastian, who's missing, she calls him weird right off the bat. It's strange.
Get out themselves. We just want to make sure that every stone is unturned, that there's no stone left unturned, that we want people to make sure that we are looking everywhere we can. We do want to continue to get the tips, but please don't provide information that you might have seen through social media channels. If you have information about Sebastian, about conversations you might have had with him, things he likes to do, places he likes to go, any people he may have mentioned that are in his life, that could be helpful in finding out maybe what he was interested in.
Really, because Katie was up on the Queen Bee panel and they talked about all of that, but you don't want to hear what people say on social media, but you don't want to listen to what the parents are saying on a podcast. I mean, give me a break. That's absolutely nuts. Absolutely knuckin' futz.
He's weird. Like when
he's weird, right off the bat, and then she catches herself in that oh shit moment. I'm surprised she didn't take a deep breath, but Katie does catch herself in this oh shit moment. Here, I'll play it back.
About conversations you might have had with him, things he likes to do, places he likes to go, any people he may have mentioned that are in his life, that could be helpful in finding out maybe what he was interested in.
He's weird. Like when he first got glasses, it was really difficult to transition and to get like accustomed to that. He's been in them for years and years now, so he's used to it. But like hats, he likes hats, but he can't stand wearing them.
Okay.
So he tries, but he only manages to wear them for like a few minutes, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'm done. Get it off me."
Right. And then also, they did find that hat in the pond. I just wanted to point that out too.
What is your favorite story of Sebastian?
Oh, bless. My favorite story of him.
Mine's going to be when he comes home and then sees the world, and then the world freaks out and sees him, and then it's going to be it'll be a continuous party. That'll be the best story.
I mean, I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Top that one.
I don't know that I can top him coming home, dear.
That's right. I'm winning.
And here's the thing, at the end of the day, all of everyone's opinions about us is entirely irrelevant. The only thing that really matters is Sebastian. All the rest be damned. Sebastian needs to come home.
Finally, we want to thank the community. We want to thank the media. You guys have been really good about keeping his name in the public's eye. That's really important. And thank you for your diligence in providing that information out there. And as Chief Deputy said, we also want to thank the community. From the very first day, everybody has really been all in as far as whatever they can do to help in the search, to help pass information on, providing water for the teams that were out conducting the ground searches. So thank you again to everybody. I'm going to pass it back to Fair Credit.
The weather is rolling in. We've got time for some questions. So, yes, ma'am.
I'm curious behind, sorry if I missed this, but has there been any indication at this point of foul play or anything of that nature?
There is no evidence to support foul play is involved in the disappearance of Sebastian.
But at this point, you don't rule it out.
We're not ruling anything out.
So 5 weeks, and you guys covered so much ground. Searching, going back, researching, checked out every case of a possible sighting, nothing confirmed. Not a trace of Sebastian anywhere. Nothing found. No footprints, no video, nothing.
Nothing that is taking us to locate Sebastian.
And are there any working theories?
We come up with theories almost daily and try and investigate and make sure that we're doing everything we can to find Sebastian.
Share any of those?
No, sir.
2 questions, if I may. Have you ruled out Sebastian's mom's and stepdad's involvement in this case? And as a follow-up, have you cleared their alibi?
I think the TBI said it best. They've been nothing but cooperative with law enforcement since day one of this investigation. There is no evidence to support foul play on the part of Sebastian's parents.
Is them moving to Memphis interfering at all with your investigation? Is it changing possibly the avenues of communication?
No, sir.
You mentioned when you were asked about recent evidence, we've heard some rumors that WCs has some validity, that there was glasses found within the past few days. Can you confirm that?
There were some glasses found in the past few days.
Have you been able to identify that they were Sebastian's?
We are still investigating.
And on the Cajun Navy,
And guys, I just want to point out that he says that they're still investigating, right? We're still investigating the glasses. It took them forever to come out and tell us whether the glasses were Sebastian's or not. And last I heard from Seth, they didn't even check Sebastian's prescriptions to make sure that they weren't his, like an old pair or anything like that. They didn't check. What took them so long to discover if they were Sebastian's or not? Right? Because again, last I checked, they also just, asked Katie whether they were Sebastian's or not. So you would think that, without any formal testing, hey, Lana, that, they would, it wouldn't take them long. They would take them to Katie, right? She would check them and they'd be done with it. They'd say, no, the mom says it's not, they're not Sebastian's, right? His mom says no. But instead they, took forever with it. And Bless, thank you so much for coffee money. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're awesome. You guys are so great. And thank you, Kiki, for starting the collection. I saw that too, Bless, your comment. Hey, Lolo. Lolo says he's weird. So your missing son is weird. Right. Seems like a really bad time to say something so degrading. I know. Like, isn't that, it is weird to say that he's weird. And she stops for a second, like, ah, shit, but she's just like used to saying bad things about Sebastian, them just flying out of her mouth, and then she realizes that she's saying it in front of the entire world, and it's just so sad. Um, it's so sad. Let's see the glasses, right? And they were found over near the Bower socks, right? They were. They never even took a look at the prescriptions, right? But they're saying, "Oh, we're working on investigating it." Oh, investigate this. You guys can't see me. I'm flipping the bird. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not flipping the bird.
Always that coordination happening? Have you found their work helpful? Are you guys working in unison or separate teams?
The Cajun Navy is operating independently. They have
Share any of those?
no, sir.
Two questions if I may. Have you ruled out Sebastian's mom's and stepdad's involvement in this case? And as a follow-up, have you cleared their alibi?
I think the TBI said it best. They've been nothing but cooperative with law enforcement since day one of this investigation. There is no evidence to support foul play on the part of Sebastian's parents.
Is them moving to Memphis interfering at all with your investigation? Is it changing possibly the avenues of communication?
No, sir.
You mentioned when you were asked about recent evidence, we've heard some rumors that advocacy has some validity, that there was glasses found within the past few days. Can you confirm that?
There were some glasses found in the past few days.
Have you been able to identify if they were Sebastian's?
We are still investigating.
And on the Cajun Navy, have you found how is that coordination happening? Have you found their work helpful? Are you guys working in unison or separate teams?
The Cajun Navy is operating independently. They have not reached out to us.
Have you found their investigation or their work helpful, or has it been one of the distractions that has been mentioned?
One of the things that I really appreciate they've done is print flyers and keep Sebastian's face out there. It's my hope that one day somebody sees something and calls in and this case breaks wide open and we find Sebastian.
They claim they've received threats. To your knowledge, have they filed any police reports or reports to the Sheriff's Department documenting any of these alleged threats?
No, sir.
Are y'all taking questions?
Fire away.
I can, yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, baby. You got a lag really bad, so you're not hearing us at the same time, but go ahead.
Sorry, I'm sorry about that. So I know, you're really on the topic of flyers and whatnot, but are you going to get in?
Are we going to get into the topic of what?
Are we going to explore any more into the topic of Sebastian? I mean, I really haven't even heard his name mentioned.
We've been talking about it this whole time. You ain't been here?
Where have you been? We've had nothing but we've learned about his favorite color, his favorite subject, what he likes to eat, what he likes to drink, what he likes to wear, how he likes to wear his hair. We've heard an immense amount about Sebastian tonight, ma'am.
What about where he is?
Well,
I think he needs to get down by. You just need to go away.
I think
I know
where
that's
is
right.
my son is the point.
I mean,
We're all looking
right.
for him.
Duh.
I'm sorry, Queen. I didn't mean to be.
Well, actually, she honestly, and I'm not bashing her when I say this, but instead of dancing around the subject, she just should have just got straight to the point, just asked the question,
Right.
Sebastian, Katie, and just stop dancing around and get to it. And the answer was real simple. As soon as we know, everybody in this world will know, and law enforcement will definitely be one of the first ones to know. But we appreciate your concern.
Oh.
And I don't know about you guys, but that's the tone that is so gross to me. Like that's the creepy tone that Chris takes. And it's very cringy, right? It's cringeworthy. Every single time, he's like, "Where's Sebastian, Katie?" Oh gosh, I don't even know. It's terrible. Kiki, yeah. I mean, I know. Well, and that was it's a long document too. But I'm curious, what's the big deal, Yeah, that's what he was saying, Lolo. He's saying, the parents are not involved. I don't suspect any foul play. He's been saying that the entire time. It's so odd. I've never watched anything quite like it. Um, I know I cringe so hard too, Lola. I mean, it's just like, oh my gosh. And I did ask Katie that. She's never answered me. I put it in my thumbnail. I thought she might see it. Where's Sebastian, Katie? I've asked her before, but she says she doesn't know. Not directly to me, but she said it before, and I do think that there's a big connection, Kiki. I think they're very well connected through the Bower Sox. Um, that's something that I do know. It's not just a bad feeling, unfortunately. Um, I know exactly. And bless just, you know, there was a certain clip that I heard where he was doing like a very deep, scary voice. When he went like smooth off on Clues channel. When was it? It was a few months back when he was making the nasty comments about little babies and stuff. Um, like he lost it for like 5 seconds or something like this, right? I have it on the video. I don't like replaying it. It's really bad. Like it's it's really bad. And I didn't, put any beeps in there or anything like that, which it might have made it more entertaining. It would have brought us back to our Ricky Lake, Jerry Springer, Jenny Jones days, Oh, okay, okay, Kiki. I thought you was talking about the one that you had sent over. Um, hmm. Super cocky. Hey, Cinderella. Super, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, Mama Davis. Mama Davis said, if you see or hear anything, contact law enforcement while we sit on the glasses and not get prescription checked, downright incompetence. Yeah, I agree, Mama Davis. And it is so frustrating, right? Because they made us wait forever for that. I mean, Nancy Grace was speculating, excuse me, speculating on it. Every they all were. They were all speculating as to whether the glasses were in fact Sebastian's. If they were just going to go by Katie's and ask her, why didn't they just go up there and ask her? Call her on the phone. We need you to come down to the station. And then at that point, maybe they bring her in for questioning. Because I don't think we would be here, honestly, if they would have done proper questioning on her, in my opinion. No detective is an active investigation, should ever be stating that. Right. I agree. I agree, SI officer. Yeah. Well, it's going to take the digging in because, and that's what they don't want us to do, so. Coffee Crime and Cats, good to see you. But he made a comment that no one has been cleared. He apparently can't make his mind up. Right. Yeah, well, and that's it too, because for them to be completely cleared, I mean, there would have to have been something like a window left open, right? Or a ring camera footage of Sebastian walking down the street and out of the neighborhood. um Something like that, or Sebastian walking straight into the woods. But if he doesn't like to be dirty and he doesn't like bugs and he was barefoot, he would not have made it far in the woods. No matter how upset he was, no matter how bad he wanted to get away from the situation, if there was a situation, he wouldn't have made it far without shoes. And that's the biggest problem. And Seth had said that, Katie has people take shoes off before they go, they come in the house. Some people don't do that, other people do. No shade either way. My mom was a neat freak. So we never wore shoes in the house. Oh boy. Oh boy, we never wore shoes in the house. We take them off at the door, so I understand that. And then I understand that Sebastian also had a pair of like slides or slippers, um, or house shoes. Some people call them a house shoe, that you just kind of wear around the house with their slippers. He had a pair of those at his dad's, according to Seth. Oh, blessed. You didn't have to send another $5 super chat. Says for not playing the creepy voice clip. Thank you. I mean, I couldn't find it when I was doing this video, because there was one in particular where he was talking about like running people over in the street. And he was talking about Bullhorn Betty, I believe in that clip. Um, I'm not 100% on that, but I'm about 99% that that's what he was doing that, and it was when she was in town. Um, but of course they scrub this shit off because it's so heinous, and they know it's particularly heinous. They know how awful it is. But they still allow for him to do it because they know they're going to get a lot of people coming in, and I can't lie, I would go over and watch him be an idiot. I would. And, ugh, that's probably on me. And then I'd probably play it here and say, look at what an idiot this guy is. Because it is outrageous. It's outrageous. It's disturbing. It's demented. Chris is a degenerate guy, you know? Kiki, that's funny. Turning into an auctioneer now. Give me 5. Who's next? Going once, going twice. Kiki. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to figure out something cool to do for like a raffle or something. So that's too funny. I'm gonna need you in here that day. Um, I don't believe they've cleared anyone. He's contradicting himself. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think they can clear anyone, SI officer. I don't think they have evidence for or against it, and it's very hard to believe, but I do think that they have to know that a light source coming from the house and then going back to the house is something, right? But they're playing it off like it's nothing. So it's odd, you know? Yeah, Adam Forever 21, they did not get they did not get cleared. Chris says that they did, you know? That's funny, Kiki. That's too funny. If I went outside to the mailbox and pet a cat outside, my mom made me take a shower before sitting on the furniture. The OCD, right? I know. My mom would just be like, it'd be like, gosh, do you need to use like straight bleach to clean, woman? Like you walk in the house, woo, it hits you. It's like, oh, okay, awesome. I mean, better than, bad smell, but bleach is pretty heavy duty. I'm like, oh, she's over there ironing the curtains before she puts them up. I'm like, oh boy, my mom. Yeah, they know all of it. They have to, like, Craddock did not go to university and come out an idiot. Like, he just didn't. He's actually held a lot of different positions within you know, in the police station, right? So, yes, but they have all of these other like, cleaners now because I like the ones that kind of turn color. Like if you spray them, and then like when it's working, it'll turn like a different color. I forget what it's called that I use, but I like that one. Um, yes, I know, and that's what I need to do with my background when I take it down because I have to wash my other, take the one background down, wash it, but I just washed my other ones that I had pulled out of storage. So, but I also want it to be nice and fall feeling in here too. So I'm changing my background. Um, so Cracker Jack box certified. I mean, SI officer, you would think like, I mean, honestly, that's why I did look into Sheriff Craddock. To begin with, right? I was like, okay, he's a young guy. Is he just like, somebody's son that, wanted to be a cop and then, he got a good position in the department because his family, how that kind of works, right? Um, but that's not entirely the case, right? Like he is an educated uh seaman. He's an educated seaman. He is. And so with that being said, I mean, I can't write him off for the idiot that he's acting like. And I think that pisses me off even more, because if he was just some ignorant, guy that, um, got the position because his dad, knew somebody or whatever, or his dad held the position, and now he's going to take over. Um, I would understand it more, and it wouldn't piss me off so bad. But knowing that he's educated and he's, gone other places other than just, because when you grow up in a place and you stay in a place and you've never really experienced anywhere else, it can cloud your judgment, and it can make it so you're not as well-rounded, and educated and experienced, right? But Eric Craddock is. That's the kicker, right? So it's got to be corruption. It's got to be corruption, right? Because he's not dumb or ignorant or oblivious. He acts oblivious, but he's not. No way am I going to give his ass a pass. No, no, sir. Not from me. Just like, in my opinion, what happened to the previous sheriff possibly went down as a take care of this case and you will get your position. Well, that very well could be, you know. Lola says, I can't help it. I think about Sebastian and what his life must have been like at home with the stinky foots, and it makes me so sad and angry at the same time. Sebastian had to be so sick of it. I know. I agree with that, Lolo. Most definitely. Kiki does too. And, I bet you a lot of you guys do, even people on the replay, um, because it is, it's enough to make you sick. And if it's this bad publicly, it had to have been, just a million times worse behind closed doors. And the fact that Sheriff Craddock again is aware, right? He's aware of this, very complacent and okay with it, right? Lana says, Tennessee has been corrupt forever. They operate under the good old boy system. And it's very odd because people would say, well, why would he? And even myself, I have asked myself that question. I would say, well, why would Sheriff Craddock jeopardize his future, right? Or, not cover his own ass and cover for the profits, but it is the good old boy system. Kiki, I would like to go undercover as well. It would not only be hilarious, but maybe helpful. It could be helpful. But yeah, I'd probably stick out. Oh Lord, I'd probably stick out like a sore thumb. Joe Neal says, I'm not a fan of LE talking or talking out of their asses, right? Craddock knows what they did with the kid, but there's no proof. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that with even the flashlight video, because like I'm with it saying, there's proof that someone was in the neighborhood, right? And we do have, the vehicle on this on this picture, in this picture. So, and there was footage of the vehicle going by, but it's so tough, the placement of where they were even in this video, because where the camera's located, they were just off of the camera angle, right? Which they didn't realize they were going to trip off the motion sensor lights with the headlights. But they did. Um, so it made it more visible, but not enough. And the camera was, they were outside the field of view just a scotch, and that's why they don't have a whole lot of evidence. That's why, you know, I do want to focus on the lights video, because they're making such a, you know, a crap about it and saying, "Oh no, it isn't what it is," and blah 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 blah. But in the same way, what's next, right? What's next? Because we got to figure out where they would have taken Sebastian or how they could have taken him. But there's still so many pieces of the puzzle that we're not aware of because I do believe Chris was involved. Um, I do. I believe that his family was involved in doing something from this point, from him being taken, right? Now we know, right? In my opinion, now we know. If he made it home, this is how he made it out of the house, but now what? That's where we're stuck. That's where I'm stuck, you know? So the GBI in Georgia is similar, says Lana. And SI officer says, in my opinion, think about it. The DA has retired a certain somebody with multiple properties, now changed the ownership. I think people are a little worried. Some investigators are going to start. Hey, Sabrina. Oh, I'm sorry. I probably missed the rest of your comment there, SI officer. I'm sorry. And they didn't collect. My big problem, Kiki, is I really, and I know it's gonna, if I let it, kill me, it's going to, right? If I let it, but it does kill me. I'm like, oh my gosh, they should have taken them in for questioning right away. Separated these two fools. They would have had it in the bag. One of them would have broke if they would have done just a little bit of police work, right? And pulled him in and said, no, 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 that's not what you told us the first time, right? But they didn't do that. They spent the whole first week operating under, like Robbie was saying, ass assumptions. That's what they did, you know? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's well traveled, Joe. Good to see you, Sabrina. And, they did do the Faro cameras out there. SI officer says, yes, my FBI coworker states the same as far as GOB system in those areas. And it's sad. It's so sad because look at the kids that fall through the cracks and then the adults. I mean, look at Summer, you know? Lana says the problem Ellie needs to change protocols with reported missing children. Parents need to be questioned and intense investigation of the home. I agree, Lana. And there may not have been any evidence of in the home. Like in my opinion, they could have given Sebastian something to sedate him and then taken him out of the house, right? So um I don't believe that there was much to kind of deal with, in my opinion. Um, but something tells me that there were signs and evidence of them abusing Sebastian in terms of cameras being in the home, in terms of, like the mattress pad that was even found. We don't know if that's Sebastian's or not, but it really could be. But I agree. They really needed to thoroughly investigate and figure out, what the car in the neighborhood was doing. Once they got the CPS reports and realized that there was no sight of Sebastian on the camera footage, um, yeah, that's when mom and dad need to come in for questioning. But in my opinion, I think that Katie lawyered up very, very early on, and when she did that, then they actually had to deal with a lawyer being there while she's being questioned, and then that, um, gets a little bit hairy, and maybe they didn't have enough to arrest her at that point. But I really do think, um that there was, you know, a lawyer present for probably a lot of the a lot of it. Looking back now, kind of knowing what we know now, because they never were, in my opinion, questioned properly. Mama Davis says, I believe they all have something on each other. A lot of mortgage fraud going on in this country and other corruption inside government offices lining their own pockets and turning a blind eye. Yeah, I agree with that, Mama Davis. Yeah, that's a great point. And I mean, it does come down to the money. It does. You know? Yeah. Yeah, that's why I always try to make it fun, a little bit fun, Carla. And we can make fun of Chris, so that's how I like to take I like to take my aggression out like that. Oh, I'm glad you're here, Miss Ann. So that's how I like to do it. It makes me laugh because he's a real schmuck. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and play this.
Chris, you are so better than I am. Like, I want to punch you.
Right.
Like,
I was
Ready to go the fuck off over here.
I was jumping on.
I was going to sit back and watch Cheesy Ripper from limb to limb. So,
Well, I have a better question for her. And then I would address this with anybody that wanted to do that. What evidence do you have that supports your theory that one of the three parents have any idea where our son is, or we had something to do with this? Because if you have something, please bring it to law enforcement. I'm begging you.
I don't understand why people think that I don't say my son's name. Well, I mean, their negativity is not my problem, but for the record, I have said Sebastian's name several times because he's my son and I love him. So there's that. And yes, Bubba is my name for him. But a wise woman told me once, and it's kind of sounds ugly sometimes, but you can't argue with, I'm trying to remember what she said. You can't argue with an idiot because they will drag you to their level and beat you with experience.
Oh, girl.
You get knocked out.
You done said that. Now you better look out.
I didn't call anybody an idiot.
Girl,
It was just a thing that someone told me. Not saying I don't
you
think
ain't
there's
lying.
not a bunch of ignorance out there, but
It
I
is.
just have no
It must be a
interest in
full moon.
engaging in that.
Well, there's also this part too. Some of these folks out there that did all of the things that they've done don't have the
People don't even realize who they're supporting.
well, not only that, they don't have testicle fortitude. They don't have
Testicular fortitude.
no, I like it my way better. And they don't carry a spine to have an adult conversation. All they like to have is level of ignorance in the things that they like to do. Is fine. That's their choice. But I don't have to get to their level to get my point across. That's just them. Actually, hold on. I have to apologize because with today's society, everybody may identify as something completely different. They may have different things, and so right. So, but everybody does have a spine. So those spineless people out there that don't want to have a conversation, I'm sorry. There we go. I'll address it more like that.
There you go.
God forbid we hurt feelings in this world.
damn it, now the jellyfish are going to be totally pissed off because now you didn't talk about them.
Oh, yeah. Which ones? The box ones or the blue halos? Because I'm a huge fan of blue halos.
I'm lost.
Jellyfish.
Those spineless things that you have to piss on yourself after they bite you.
That's false. Use vinegar. I thought,
There's been an exhaustive search for Sebastian Rogers, but with few updates from authorities in recent weeks, some have wondered, is enough being done?
We're doing everything we can do. Every time a tip comes in, we follow up on it.
Eric Craddock is chief deputy with the Sumner County Sheriff's Office and heads up the investigation. He sat down for an exclusive one-on-one to talk about what they do when there are few new leads.
I think in the absence of information, what we'll continue to do is go back over everything we've already done once, put a fresh set of eyes on it.
To that end, Craddock says searchers recently found a pair of glasses, which they are checking to see if they belong to Sebastian. He says the parents continue to fully cooperate. Any evidence of foul play?
We have not cleared anyone. But we have absolutely no evidence to support foul play.
You can see two suspicious light sources, which we've circled here, in an Arian's home. Since we first aired the video last month, authorities have said no evidentiary value.
It is of no evidentiary value.
Can you tell me what those lights are?
No.
Why?
Because the investigation remains ongoing.
And so it could play a role down the road depending on developments?
We don't know what we don't know. So yes, it could play a role.
So many are, of course, closely following this case. How difficult has it been, all the noise on social media?
Oh, the rumor mill on social media has done nothing to advance this case.
Craddock says investigators continue to work the case daily and deal not with feelings, but facts and evidence.
There's no stone left unturned.
Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
So I did post. My name is Gita. I am part of Katie's Rosenbaum family, a very large family. Yes, I am her biological mom's cousin. And from the beginning when I found out Sebastian was missing, I have been watching this crazy carnival. And it has been so upsetting. Like I said, I've been watching this from the very beginning. And it's interview after interview, the stories kept changing. And I got an email, a private message from a couple of my cousins after a picture was posted, and a lot of things were being said about our family. And I lived with my family to my dad. Right. But then I kept seeing the story change, and my heart just kept sinking every time I heard it. Changing. And I didn't want to believe that there was any capability of that happening. And every time the story changed, my heart would sink. And I was in a lot of Facebook groups, and anytime I would go and chat, I would see these comments, and I would ask, what makes you say that? Or, well, tell me why you're saying that. And anytime I had something different to say, I even had one gentleman, I say gentleman, and I'm going to say that politely because I am not here for any hate, tell me, do not ever come to Hendersonville. Don't ever come to Tennessee. And I asked him, why do you say that? And he's like, trust me. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I have some friends on my Facebook now who actually saw that. And I'm like, wow. And what is going on? And at that time I kept catching little snippets of different YouTube creators, and I'm hearing all this hate towards Seth, and then I'm hearing a lot of comments that Chris is making, and I'm really paying attention. I'm taking notes. And
are we able to learn anything about what those threats are?
They would have to call the police and report them.
I feel frustrated because I don't know what I'm supposed to do. It's like when I did the show for Pascal, I told him I could do it 9 o'clock at night. Because by then I'm back here. And, I don't want any of my volunteers out there after dark because we got people following them around. I want them to be in the daylight. It's just.
Well, exactly.
My son.
Uh,
And at the same point in time, I'm trying to make sure everybody who helps me doesn't get hurt.
Absolutely.
Where's the search go from here? It's been 5 weeks. There's been no signs. Do you believe he's still alive? And what are you guys going to continue working on?
My hope and prayer is that Sebastian is still alive. Yes. We're going to continue to work on this investigation, follow up every tip and lead that comes in. Some of this may revert back to us going over some things that we've already done for the 6th, 7th, or 8th time. A fresh set of eyes never hurt anything. We're going to continue to work to find Sebastian.
Have the stories been changing at all? Have you been talking with people, interviewing them for a second time possibly?
There is no evidence to support foul play.
Are there any active current leads that you guys are pursuing?
We have tips called in daily.
Any of those tips seem legitimate enough to expand law enforcement resources?
Regardless of their legitimacy, we're going to follow up on them.
be any other agencies pulled in to help in the search efforts for this case?
I'm certain there will be.
You met with the biological father and mother this past week. Is that at their request, your request? Is that just re-interviewing them again?
That was at the request of law enforcement. It's not uncommon to talk to the family in investigations like this. I've got time for one more question.
Just overall, how has this investigation impacted the morale at your department, especially with all the scrutiny going on?
Let me put it to you like this. If my kid was missing, this is the team I'd want on. The men and women of the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, the FBI partners, the other local agencies, the Secret Service, everyone who's had a hand in this case is doing everything they can to find Sebastian.
Okay, guys, I just want to interject here because I'm here to tell you if one of his beautiful little kids was missing for 19 months, he would not be happy with the efforts, because that's what any parent who doesn't know where their kid is going to feel, right? They're not going to feel happy until the child is back with them. So, I think that was insensitive and a real shit move on Craddock's part, a real shit bum move.
Morale's high. We are here and we are dedicated. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you for keeping Sebastian in the public. Please continue to publicize this photo. Thank you all.
The search for Sebastian Rogers, which is now in its 5th week.
Yeah, more than a month. He went missing February 26th. It's believed he wandered from his home, walked from his home, may have been barefoot. More than a month later, no sign of the 15-year-old with autism.
And Michael, I want to go back in time a little bit, because you were one of the first reporters who we sent to cover this story. And you were kind of there during one of these original news briefings, and you asked a very important question of authorities about surveillance video.
This would have been day 3 or day 4 when the investigators came out and briefed us as to where we stood in the investigation. And I asked the deputy chief, you've asked for all this surveillance camera footage, all this doorbell camera footage from across Sumner County, from those specific neighborhoods where he lived. Have you seen anything? Has anybody brought you a photo, a doorbell camera image that shows you Sebastian? And he said that no, they haven't actually been able to put eyes on Sebastian since that night he went missing, which really stood out to me as a reporter, because we know everybody nowadays has doorbell cameras. It seems like there's so many of them across the county, surveillance camera footage. And if he was to have walked away from his home, you'd think that somebody would have picked up a trace of him. And that was not the case.
It really is mystifying. And you can kind of pick up on the fact that investigators feel frustrated with the lack of leads or the lack of movement, I guess you could say, in the investigation.
Exactly. It's something I sense talking with them. They are frustrated. They've covered 2,000 square miles in just a few days since he went missing in February. They've done another search this week. They're bringing in boats. They're bringing in ATVs and search dogs. They've got boots on the ground, walking through woods, checking ponds. And they have what they say is very few clues as to what happened to Sebastian. And it's something I sensed is that they are frustrated. And it's tough for them. It's tough for the public.
And it's interesting to kind of see, they originally decided to scale back their search efforts, right? So they said, okay, we've got people on standby. We're going to respond if we get a lead. We've got boots on the ground that can go immediately, but we're scaling back the search efforts there at the scene.
Yeah.
So that kind of happened. There was a lull almost in activity. And then within, since yesterday and today, we've seen hundreds of people now back in the area around the home where he disappeared from, his family home. So it's just interesting to see, go from this lull, no new leads from what authorities are telling us, to all of a sudden, this recanvassing effort that's involving hundreds of experts out there.
Right. Some new people that are out there that hopefully can shine some light on some things that they may have missed. It's important to point out that in the few days after Sebastian went missing, in those original press conferences, they said that they were working under the belief that he wandered from his home, that he walked away, and that they were out searching for him, and it was just a matter of them finding him. That was the original belief.
Yeah.
Here we are several weeks later, and I think that has changed, because now the TBI and the investigators are saying everything is on the table. Every possibility is on the table. There's no evidence that points to foul play. There's no evidence that rules out foul play. So I think that that has kind of changed a little bit. That belief that he just walked away from his home, sure, that's a possibility, but it may not be exactly what they believe at this time.
Right. So Hamilton had an exclusive interview with Sebastian's mother and stepfather, and they talked directly to that point and said, we don't even believe that he simply walked away based on his history. So take a listen to that.
He's not a runner. He's never run away before. I don't know why. I don't know why he walked out that door.
Have you seen her behave this way ever in the past?
The fake tears. Yeah. She is what I see is someone on a mission. Get what I want, no matter what. And in my opinion, and that's what I recognize. And I see hate, which is scary. And I don't like that. And I can see it.
I understand people are trying to find an answer. Truly, I got it. I understand that. But
I want an answer more than all of you combined, I promise.
I bet.
It just, I don't know. It's one of those things people will never understand unless they're in the situation. And I don't ever recommend people or wish this on anybody either. I don't.
I've seen photos of her that were shared with, from Don and Suzanne and from aunts and uncles of her, just so happy and just super beautiful. And that's not her.
Because I saw some photos of her that Seth had shown me, and wow, what a night and day difference.
That is not her.
Yeah.
But she is not defenseless, and she is not the controlling type. This whole thing is twisted.
So the facade of her, there's a lot of people that believe that she's kind of this, a battered wife that doesn't speak for herself, is kind of, the impression many people have expressed.
I'm not believing that. She is a strong person. Do I believe she has after effects or probably some issues from years ago? Absolutely. Who wouldn't? But I don't think there are issues in the way of, I think there are more issues of temper. I guess the word is manipulative.
Gotcha.
I'll just leave that.
No.
Showing you love, Katie. They said they're showing you some love.
She says thank you. And see, she does speak. She doesn't speak often, but she does.
There's only a certain number of things that really could have happened. Either he walked away willingly and it's just a matter of people finding him. He may have walked away willingly and somebody took him. Somebody may have done something to him. I mean, there's only a certain number of theories at this point that could explain where Sebastian could have gone.
Earlier this week, it seemed like a little nugget was dropped by investigators that could potentially lead us somewhere of value. And they had mentioned during a news conference the other day that a pair of glasses had been found during the search for Sebastian. They have since come out and said the glasses that we found do not belong to Sebastian. This is off the table as a piece of evidence or a clue in the case, for that matter. And we have also heard from the parents who went on national television, the stepfather and mother, and they have actually left their home because the stepfather has a job in Memphis. So they've left their home there in Sumner County to be there in Memphis for work. And there was some criticism for that decision to kind of leave while the search is happening around their house.
Yeah, they had said in that interview with Nancy Grace that it was for the stepfather's work. She asked them why, and the mother had said that she wanted to be there with her husband for his work. They have since, according to investigators, cooperated fully with anything that the investigators have wanted. Anything the sheriff's office has asked of them, they said that they have done. So yes, they've received some criticism for leaving. As far as from what investigators have told us, they've done everything that they've been asked to do.
And I have a very, very large family. Who usually
how when people hear how large your family is, tell us about how large your family is.
We are over 120, just on the Rosenbaum side. When my grandmother died, my granny, and I'm the only one named after her, there was something like 49 grandchildren, 39 great grandchildren, 30 some great grandchildren, and it's been growing ever since. So we are over 100 strong.
So this is what she posted on the Justice for Sebastian Facebook group. It says, "This will be my last post, and I hope everyone reading this will understand why. Since the beginning, I struggled with the thought that a member of my very own family could ever do something as heinous as getting rid of their child. Like every single YouTuber was saying. Then I watched this interview. Sorry, it's a little blurry. And became a skeptic. Then the second interview and felt sick. The third interview, all doubt was gone. I had held hope, maybe an accident. Then she left town saying he could be anywhere now. Blood relative only holds so much hope and faith, and I couldn't pray this feeling away. Months later, so many lies, YouTube creators flipping the script as if they're threatened. No way, I thought. They never wanted a single vigil. They never went to a single vigil, couldn't find time for searches, lied on a Sumner County custody position, fully cleared by LE and in no danger or threat. She seemed to love her summer with someone else's child, forgetting her own. Now, anyone who's steadfast in finding Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is met with threats, fake profile harassment, and legal action, gag orders, First Amendment rights stripped. Every day I truly feel like I wanted to apologize, but every day I wanted to scream at every state and federal representative for the state of Tennessee and ask them, can you not see what's happening in this county? What mother steals her missing child's name out of the mouth of people who want him found? Why is nothing being done about the threats to the people searching? Then I want to ask my extended family, why are you all so quiet? Do you think this is okay? I don't. If you did nothing wrong, prove us wrong. Let people search without fear, hang flyers without getting police called on them, and show his name and picture. Stop spending your time and money in court on lawyers silencing people over lies. Let people help bring him home. Otherwise, tell us what happened."
I cried days before I wrote that. Yeah. And even though they were doxxed, I mean, my family is normally not quiet. So I'm actually surprised I haven't been getting a lot of response from them. I have seen posts on other pages, questioning who I am. Trust me, I am who I am. I am who I say I am. I have receipts. I have not seen her since her grandfather, my Uncle Don, died. And that was in 2015. And I did get to meet Sweet Sebastian then. That was her favorite grandfather. When she was born, she was not around the family. Her mother was married in West Virginia, and she did not come to our side of the family until she was like 8 or 9-ish. Gosh, her grandma and grandfather, they doted over her.
Very protective of her as well, too.
Yes. She was a very coddled person. And everybody in the family, anytime we saw my Uncle Don and Aunt Suzanne, how's Katie? How's Katie? Because, she wasn't with them long. She went to live with her dad. And I know everybody says her Aunt Penny, but it was in between her dad and her Aunt Penny, David Payne and her Aunt Penny, but mostly with her dad, David. And we would always ask, how's Katie? How's Katie? Oh, she's doing great. Oh, she's doing great. And, when she graduated, I had lived in North Carolina next to her, and was and still am very close to her aunt and uncle there. I remember my Uncle Don and Aunt Suzanne came in town to visit, and it was right when Katie graduated, and she was going to culinary school, and she was a chef at a really nice restaurant at the Virginia Beach oceanfront. And she's doing great, but that was a really hard time in her life. There was a lot going on at that time when she was 17, before she turned 18. And it had nothing to do with Seth.
Did you ever know about Seth?
No, she had a boyfriend that wasn't Seth.
Did you ever know about Chris or ever meet Chris?
No. After she moved away, she had left, and, she had Sebastian when she was 19.
Right.
But they were married by then. And
closer to 20, right?
Yeah, closer to 20. But, Seth got permission from my Uncle Don to marry her.
Gotcha.
And I will tell you, my Uncle Don is a very religious, honorable man. I don't know exactly how it happened, but the fact that he did it, and let me put it this way. The fact that my Uncle Don gave his permission, I will tell you, means a lot.
Gotcha.
Because of my Uncle Don's very strong faith in his religion and his love of God, he would not have given just any Joe Schmo permission to marry Katie. Katie was very much, I want to say, his pride and joy.
They also face some criticism just from people on social media saying, why did it take you so long to say something publicly?
No family called us. No one in the family called us. And she just mentioned it. I'm like, who? And then she sent it in to my mom, and I told her Dan must have posted something. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, nobody told us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I started researching it. And I was like, oh, why did nobody say anything? Why is this so private?
Right.
No, we were not. It was not. And like I said, normally when something happens in this family, somebody has their home phone in one hand and their cell phone in the other. And it's like a game of, what is that pillow talk or whatever, where it's like going through the whole chain.
Mm-hmm.
No, phones didn't ring.
When did you learn about it from the aunt? Was it days, weeks, months?
It was about a month. It was after the first couple of interviews, and I had to go back and watch them because I had been chatting with her. It was probably mid-March.
Mm-hmm.
No, late March. Me possibly taking a trip down there. It was late March, yeah.
So a whole half of the family was completely in the dark about a missing relative for well over a month to well over a month.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know how the aunt heard about it? Was it through another family member, or do they just
she's
learn
close.
about it?
She's the one that's very close to her. No, I think she knew the whole time, but it wasn't advertised.
And in the exclusive interview that they did with Holly Thompson, they said, please don't judge us. You have no idea what we've been going through. How are you coping?
We're on a constant roller coaster ride of helpless and hopeless and many other emotions all in one, and it's a never-ending roller coaster. It doesn't stop. It won't stop until he walks through the door.
And just a few days ago, you spoke with Sebastian's biological father. So we just heard from his stepdad and his mother, but you actually did an interview with his
Seth Rogers
dad. Yeah, and it was such a profound interview and so gut-wrenching. Walk us through how that interview came to be, and then we'll play a little bit of it.
This actually came out of, this was last Monday, and the United Cajun Navy had come in. They'd been searching for Riley Strain in downtown Nashville, and were here. And so after the resolution to Riley's case, they moved over to Sumner County and said, well, we'll help search for Sebastian. And we had arranged an interview at the place that they were sort of meeting in their command center. And they had asked Seth Rogers to join, and he came and was more than willing to talk to us for the first time. Was the first time I had a chance to talk to him. He's been out searching himself, and was very moved by the attention this case has gotten, and you felt for him, and I know we have a piece of that interview.
Yeah, and what I appreciated about it was, the love with which he described his child. So take a listen.
Every day, I have to stop looking is to give up hope. And I'm just not into that. He is my heart. If you get to know him, you'll smile all the time. When you see him coming, you'll smile. When you hear his laughter, it's the sun coming through the clouds.
I mean, just to hear him describe his son like that, goodness. Yeah. It's just kind of gets your heart immediately.
Lauren Conlon is joining me. You can find her at Lauren Emily Conlon. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. And now this might be for Brian as well. Yesterday, when the dogs hit and everybody's going crazy, YouTubers, internet, TikTokers, and we figure out it's not Sebastian and police are not involved, the TBI is not involved. Did you call the Proudfoots and let them know that this was not Sebastian? Did you tell them ahead of time that you were searching these areas? Did they know what you were doing, or was this specifically just through Seth Rogers?
Yeah, so Seth Rogers is Sebastian's biological father, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so he was there, and as Ms. Grace alluded to earlier, it would not have been typical or possibly even probable that he could have skeletonized after only a few weeks. So I'm not sure about the Proudfoots, but his father definitely did know. I also wanted to echo what Miss Nancy said earlier about the police. One of the reasons we got called in, there was a lot of social media personalities reaching out to us, kind of complaining that they didn't feel like the police were doing enough. But really, it's just what Miss Nancy said. It's that they're not under obligation to give daily or every other day updates. They are doing an investigation. We have been in very close contact with TBI. And I can tell everybody with 100% certainty, they are on top of it. They are not letting their foot off the gas at all on the search for Sebastian or trying to find out what happened to him. That's why social media is not necessarily your house. We go in and do search and rescue. You have to trust the process like we do. We trust law enforcement is going to have this wrapped up probably very soon.
Brian, however, I want to make sure that you are not encouraging citizen sleuths to stop looking, because I've had many cases where we put out the warning and they actually spot a missing person. I mean, I only have to point to Gabby Petito, whose remains were found in dispersed camping way out west by a citizen who had heard about the case. So, sometimes their information is wrong, but there is no way in HELL that I would ask them to stop. And I know that's not where you're headed. Hey guys, I don't want to see anything edited. I want to see the whole thing. No edits, no airbrushing, the real deal. But that's just me. I understand you have another question.
Oh, I mean, I guess I didn't quite get the clarity I wanted, in the sense that, did the Proudfoots know that this search was going on with the Cajun Navy? Were they being called? Were you guys being alerted about this? Did you hear from a YouTuber that they found something, that the the search dog started jumping? Or, were you just kind of blind to all of this? Just, over in your corner doing your search?
No, ma'am. So here to set that record straight and help the United Cajun Navy. So somebody's got a picture out there saying that we are enjoying a dinner when we're actually out there, got flyers at a dinner table because we need to eat. My wife was on the phone with the Cajun Navy. That's how the Cajun Navy was brought in. And we talked to the president of the United Cajun Navy. He put us in touch with their team that was here locally in Nashville. Then that young lady reached back out to us, gave us some more information. We gave her some more details. Then they said they would start a search, but we also had them get in direct contact with the TBI agent as well as Sumter County's Sheriff's Department. We provided all that information. They reached out to them, got some information. They pushed outside of the areas that had been searched already, conducted a search. Somehow or another, they linked up with the bio father who supposedly got a tip from somewhere. Whether or not it was credible or not, we don't know. But it led them to searching on federal property without permission, which is where we have been informed at some point that there was allegedly a hit on something, but turned out to be nothing. And they were asked to leave the property immediately or the cops are going to be called because it was trespassing based off of a tip that the bio father received.
Yeah, to Brian Trasher, VP of Cajun Navy, let's clear it up. Isn't it true? This is on federal property that had been closed off. It was a hurricane site earlier. It was also, yes, thank you. And it was also near railroad tracks, and some homeless people had been living there. And apparently one of them had died. And we believe that is what the dogs were hitting on. Is that correct?
Yeah, all the above is correct. And we did not gain access to the property. It had already been open when we got there. I'm not sure how entry was gained, but yeah, everything above it that you just said was correct.
Guys, the search for Sebastian goes on.
What is one thing that really stuck out with you? Because you've kind of been in the thick of it, Michael, boots on the ground reporter. You've been there among the search crews using all types of tools to try to find him. What's a moment or an exchange or something someone said that is really going to stick with you?
The attention that this case has gotten from the people who live in that area, who truly went out and were walking along rivers and in woods and checking their sheds as they were asked to do. We even got a chance to speak to some people who have autism or have children who have autism. And if you want to talk about people who have their eyes on this case, it's those folks who know what it's like to raise a child with autism, who know what it's like to have autism. And this case is one that they are thinking about all day, multiple times a day. And for them to get a resolution to this case would mean the world.
And I think it's something that just resonates with all parents, right? Like this is every parent's worst nightmare. And to see this unfolding is just so troublesome. We should mention TBI says they've gotten more than 300 tips. They're really asking people for a couple different things. Only share evidentiary information. So factual information not based in rumor if you're submitting a tip. They want to hear your tips, but they don't want it to be something that you heard on social media. And they're also asking people not to spread misinformation on social media. They say that can bog down their investigation. They got to spend time following up on leads that are typically dead ends. So those are the two big requests there.
Just tired.
Yeah.
Trying to get TBI to answer questions for me. They won't answer questions.
Can I ask, can you say what questions you're trying to get answers to?
Well, the thing with the Speedway, that's been reported so many times, and yet I don't know if they've investigated it or not.
So there was a sighting at the Speedway? I'm not sure about that.
That was the gray truck that JL was talking about.
Oh, okay. That's the one.
Am I correct, Seth?
I don't know if it's gray or what it is.
Okay.
Dark truck, but that was, it was more than 2 weeks ago. Yeah, because I don't want to send them any leads.
Right.
I've already done it because I ain't trying to waste my time or theirs.
Yeah.
I sent the information to TBI. I don't know if they checked on it or not.
You said, you're trying to get answers from TBI. Is it that they're not responding to you? or is it that they're giving you the runaround, or what's the frustration you're having with TBI right now? Because I mean, are you not getting routine updates from them, or what's going on?
I get generic responses. It takes a lot of effort to not turn around and professionally tell them where to shut.
Do you feel that someone has Sebastian? That someone helped and aided him?
All I have is
circumstantial.
And TBI doesn't want to listen to it. Summit County doesn't want to listen to it. Yeah.
Really? Out of any vehicles, mysterious vehicles in the area?
I have already given the information to TBI.
Okay.
So
you have,
because they're not going to respond to me. They're not going to tell me if they checked it out. They're not going to tell me anything. So pretty much I get to take a whole bunch of flyers and take a map and throw a dart at it and find out where I'm going to start next.
I can't even keep up with you anymore, to be honest, because I know that you're like on so many, different YouTubers and Nancy Grace and Court TV and just bringing awareness out there. And you're tired, you're exhausted, but you just want to.
I mean, it took me over a week to actually decide that I was going to do it. Because I don't like people trying to hold stuff over my head. Like I said, 1 in 10 youths go through it. It's horrible. The fact is that 1 in 10 is literally only the statistics for those that say something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when you get people in chat that are trying to shame me for actually saying it's dirty laundry. It's not dirty laundry. It happened. I'm not going to sit here and let somebody hold something over my head. It happened. It did not happen under my watch. I still feel guilty as shit that it did happen. All right.
Yeah, I noticed that there was a controversy, and I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of shocked that so many people were like, this didn't need to be aired and stuff like that. Like, because personally, like the poll before this was, yes, do the same as what you did. And sorry, the wind's coming through your mic there, but most people said yes, that they would do the same.
Yeah. I voted for the poll.
Okay.
Yeah, movie wise, I don't know, because in our house, he was only allowed to watch certain things. He was not allowed, like rated R, out of the question. Certain PG-13 movies, out of the question.
Anything with like strong violence or sexual content is really what we tried to buffer out. But
such good parents.
You kidding me? I'm an evil man. How dare you not let your child watch the violence?
I don't know, I'm the worst person in the world with names.
So you're the worst person with music. Anyways, he is an Eddie Vedder fan. He's a Pearl Jam fan. He likes Meatloaf,
Nice.
Survivor, from like Eye of the Tiger.
That's the one we want to hear about. Like,
So,
is that his
believe
pump up jam?
At one point, it was. It used to be like his pump up jam. It really was.
How did it might have been the radio.
I don't remember where he heard it, but it was a catchy tune, and he caught on to it. But he also, like I said, he liked Eddie Vedder.
He got a great voice.
Yes.
I'm one where like when I hear the song, I know the song, but I can't tell you what it is.
Oh yeah.
Sebastian and Chris play name that song in the car. So like on the radio, he'll be like, "Who sings this song?" And I'm like, "I don't know, but I know the words to the song." And Bastion in the background is like, "It's so and so."
Oh, I mean, I'll play all kinds of music from. I mean, go back to Motown to.
Yeah. He loves Uptown Funk You Up. Uptown Funk You Up.
Oh, yeah.
Uptown Funk You Up. Oh yes.
Bruno
Mars.
Mars. Yeah.
He loves that song.
But I mean, I played it one. I was like, Sebastian, try not to laugh when you hear this song. He was like, what? And I played Chuck Berry's My Ding-a-Ling. It was a silver bell on a string. I mean,
I was upset. She lied.
Well, see, you were a child. You probably didn't want to like ruin your mind over it.
It's about a dude playing with his,
But definitely keep.
no, I mean, the song, it tells you right in the beginning of the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a little bit boy, my mom gave me this cute little toy, silver bell hanging on a string. She told me it was my ding-a-ling.
Yep.
Silver bells.
That's like the first chorus or the first verse of the song.
Yep.
I hear Silver Bell and I think Christmas.
And then he gets into it and he gets everybody to all start singing. And he was like, if you're not singing, you must be playing with your own ding-a-ling.
Mm-hmm.
See? No, we always found different types of music for him to get into. But
That's good.
I mean, he has a very eclectic taste. I will give him that.
I think your mom's come into our chat. So we really appreciate it, Robin.
One time a couple weeks back, she didn't have nice things to say about Christopher Proudfoot, and to be honest, neither do I. But at the time that your mother had kind of come into chat, Robin, she had said some comments about Christopher Proudfoot. Like basically he's a liar, which he's been shown. Like, look at this. You see the whole polygraph thing? I've taken it. Then on Nancy Grace, he says he's not taken one. Then he says he has one and then he doesn't even take Nancy Grace's. And then he tells somebody else the other day that he has one scheduled. Again, it's just like, dude, shut up, okay? But anyways.
And there's absolutely nothing to show that we are responsible, foul play, any of that nature. People have asked about interrogations and polygraphs. All this stuff has been done. All of it has been done.
That was one of the questions that I had up next was, have you both taken a polygraph test?
The results are passed.
The results of the polygraph was that you passed. Is that both of you passed, or can you say?
Yes.
Okay. Specifically, Chloe and Mo wanted to know specifically, could you elaborate? Did you take one and also pass? They want to know that you definitely took a polygraph and passed because it got cut off by a different question and they feel like you did not answer that. So I'm just asking one more time. This is the last time, guys, I'm going to revisit this question.
Okay. For the record.
Mo, he said he passed it, according to Amy.
Well, hold on. Somebody asked the question, was a polygraph taken and has it been passed? Yes. I didn't specify who or when. But what I can tell you, everything has been vetted completely. Polygraphs have come back as passed. So I'm confused as in why they're all wondering if myself, my wife, and the biological father took one. When law enforcement agency has come out and told everybody, even in the TBI news link, if you guys hadn't read that, please go out and read that. That's got a lot of great information in it, especially it's probably the most up-to-date information. But they will even tell you, at this point in time, they have no reason to speculate foul play, anything on the parents. Everybody's been extremely cooperative of anything and everything they've asked us.
Okay.
Your mother had, not so nice words about Christopher Proudfoot. And it didn't take too long, to be honest with you, for the public to see that. No offense, but in the public of opinion, everyone's really, for the most part, is in your corner. And for us, it's a lack to be desired in the public opinion, of course.
The only thing I have to say about that is, when you say that everybody's in my corner, everybody needs to understand I'm fighting with different people. I'm not going to go tit for tat. I'm not going to respond to certain things. All right, this is about Sebastian.
Yep.
Somebody was trying to hold something that happened to Sebastian over my head.
Yep.
And, when he sat there and was saying, people want to know why I don't want my daughter around your son. And it's like,
right.
Well, you guys are partly to blame for that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
So don't trying to hold something over my head.
Mind you, they kept adding stuff to interviews. Then it was like pulling teeth, actually. Christopher Proudfoot actually spoke the most. It was like Katie's Muppet, in a sense, always talking for her, talking over her, in a sense. But they're the one.
Maybe she should remove her hand out of his ass.
Right. Honestly, just like you're being a voice for Sebastian because you're the father, you want to hear the mother speak. You don't want to hear the stepdad, in a place that's being a question posed to Katie that she would know. And
Go Bulldogs. Katie is there with Chris, but if she wants to speak, she will speak. But
Yes, she is.
First of all, Christopher Proudfoot was in Memphis. Like, do you absolutely know that? Were you told that by TBI? Because you said that they also
No.
showed. Okay, you don't know that for sure. Okay.
They haven't shared any information with me
Okay.
at all.
But they shared with you that it was a garbage truck and not flashlights.
They showed me the video because that one came out from Eric, and they wanted to show. And those lights were on the top right-hand corner. They were literally on the other side of the road.
No, but that's their version. It's not TBI's version, or right. So the information is only as good as what they're telling us, but that doesn't mean it's factual and true.
Correct.
It's just what they're saying to us. So take it with a grain. Go ahead.
It's their hypothesis.
Correct. I mean, we all know it's strange. A kid. So there's the money that was in the ATM machine that they said they found about a week later in his closet. That was still there untouched, Christopher Proudfoot said. We've heard.
Okay, guys, I did want to pop in right here because this is some information that Sunny is confirming according to Chris Proudfoot, right? But according to the most recent FBI release, it said that Sebastian's money was sitting on the dining room table with his cell phone and his, and the charger and everything. So, which is it? And if Sebastian had a piggy bank or a safe in his room for his money, then why would he leave his money on the dining room table and then walk out? It's completely absurd. It's completely absurd.
Saying to us. So take it with a grain. Go ahead.
It's their hypothesis.
Correct. I mean, we all know it's strange. A kid. So there's the money that was in the ATM machine that they said they found about a week later in his closet. That was still there untouched, Christopher Proudfoot said. We've heard that, no phone, supposedly no shoes, perhaps socks, still weird. What kid is going to run away and not take his backpack, some munchies, have a little bit of a plan going on here? And you said that this is not my son. Like, this is something he would not do. So you don't see it, Seth, as him, just, you know what, I'm going to put on my little runaway tote and just head on out of here with no shoes, but take a little
Doesn't make sense because it's not something I think my son would do.
What shoes did Sebastian have?
Say it one more time.
How many pairs of shoes did Sebastian have?
Well,
I'm not going to tell you how many shoes he has, but I will say that all of the shoes he has are accounted for.
did y'all catch Mom?
I didn't quite hear a little bit for me. Did you?
Okay, she said that she would not divulge how many pairs of shoes he has, but law enforcement has accounted for every pair of shoes.
I have accounted for all of his shoes.
And he did take his eyeglasses with him. They were not found, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Right. So Sebastian had it's about a little 3-inch. If you think about the little keychain flashlights, that used to find at vendor tables they give out for free, cheapies. It was something that he picked up at one of the local festivals, and so right now we still this date cannot find it. So we are assuming that he took it with him because it cannot be found.
Now, how often does law enforcement update you guys?
Very regularly.
I heard that you watched the video of supposedly Sebastian taking the garbage out. Did you see that video?
I did.
And was it Sebastian?
It was too dark to tell.
Okay. Because do you know what time of the night it was for that?
No, because I didn't see a timestamp on it.
Okay. Right. Because 6:30 apparently, I think there was a waitress that said that they had left at about 6:30 from the restaurant, and Katie had said that he took out the garbage, but there was no kind of clear time. Did you see movement of a person though?
Yeah, that's about it.
It says, have you seen the clothes that you saw your son wearing on the Texas Roadhouse video?
No, I'm back in that house since the little escapade with my sister setting up a GoFundMe.
So I mean, is it really that profitable?
Yes. Yeah. Yes,
Can be.
it is.
There's
Like,
a lot of people. There's a lot of people on here who have very big hearts.
That's the thing. They have a lot of big hearts. This in our community, we have a lot of people that really give a fuck.
Yep.
Like they really
Yep.
do. You know, there's like I said, there's a lot of people here that support you and Katie. Like there's a lot of people here that really support you and Katie.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate it. We're not money people. We don't
No,
do
I'm
that
just
kind
saying,
of
like
stuff.
support you in general. You know what I mean? Like this, we have a very good community, and if you were to say, "Hey, we need this," or something happened, they are very quick to want to help. Very quick to want to help.
Any of us have had a problem, everybody's come together for one another to help. We've
Man,
built our own little village.
That's amazing. Like I've never thought this existed or anything like that existed in general.
Right now.
There's a lot of psychos on here, but there's also a lot of very good people. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Katie. I apologize.
No, you're fine. I just said right now I'm hoping it's going to work on finding Bubba.
Me too.
For the record, I'm the only one that really calls him Bubba.
I think that's cute.
Well, first I went onto Facebook, and at that time, there really wasn't a whole lot, but there was some. So then I started Googling it, and I started looking. It kept sending me to YouTube. Every channel, because I subscribed to all of them, and I was listening to every one of them, and I was like, "What is this mess?" What? And then I just turned them all off, and I found the interviews. And I started with the first one. I watched the Duchess one. That's the first one I watched.
Tell me what happened the day that Sebastian went missing. I know that his mom said that he was having a good day. He had had a great weekend. So do you want to walk us through what that looks like again for everybody?
He did have a really good weekend, actually. When we come home from having supper that evening, he was playing. When he went to bed, when I told him to go to bed, he said, "I love you, Mama," and he said, "I love you, puppies." A little later in the evening, I myself went to bed, and when I went to wake him up for school, he wasn't here.
Chris, you were at work. You were out of town at work, so you were not even home.
Correct, ma'am.
And Mom, you fell asleep on the couch about 10 o'clock, but you said that Sebastian went to bed at 9 p.m. And then you got up off the couch and you went to bed, and you said that was around midnight.
Midnight.
And nothing was unusual at that point. Everything seemed okay.
There's actually a piece of, so to make something very crystal clear, so that way there's transparency across the board. Me and the mom were on the phone at 9:43 or 9:46 in the evening. We stayed on the phone for quite some time. The call logs have been verified by all the police departments, TBI included. We stayed on the phone. It was very lengthy. Mom did slightly start falling asleep while she was on the couch. I had said, "Hey, you need to wake up, put the dogs up, go to bed." Now, mind you, that was right around midnight, just before midnight or right around midnight.
Mm-hmm.
So then Mom does go to bed and wakes up early in the morning to go wake her son up, get him ready for school. And now we have a worried mom who can't find her son in the house. Mom made an effort to look and search several times. Mom has called me at the time and asked me, she was like, "I can't find him." I was like, "Do what?" And she goes, "Yeah, I cannot find him." I said, "Well, hang on." I made the phone call and reported it to the sheriff's department because that's what we're supposed to do. And within 10 minutes, the sheriffs were dispatched to the location.
My thoughts on all of them, and initially my first thought was, why is he talking so much? And a couple of times he blurted like, "No, we would have heard that," or we would have, or And I'm like, he said, I thought he wasn't there. And I had to keep rewinding.
Yeah, he locks the door behind himself every time he goes out it. The only people that would have access to my house have all been interviewed.
And not only that, but if somebody had been by the front door, punched in the code, believe it or not, no, it's not super clear, but you would have seen a shadow or a figure based on, something would have been visible because one of the lights is still visible from that Ring camera from across the street.
Okay. There was no windows unlocked or anything like that.
Yeah, with the screens intact and things like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nothing exterior of the building of our house has been altered.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's why it was like, oh, not only that, but for him to go out the window, so to speak, he would have landed in the flower bed and, barefooted. Yeah, we'd have heard something because he had landed on it and screamed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, let me go on to the next one. And now we're going to the green shirt. The rocking back and forth and the no tears.
I just want my baby to be okay. I don't know where he's at. I don't know where he's at.
And I'm like, and also the first change of the chain of events. And I caught that immediately. And I'm like, wait a second.
So kind of just walk us through that night.
We were out and about that day. We were having a really good weekend. We got home. Everything was pretty normal. He was playing in his room. When I told him to go to bed, he did. He said, "Good night, Mom. I love you." Said good night to his puppies. A little bit later, I wound up going to bed. And when I woke him up for school, he wasn't there.
That's usually around what time? When do you normally wake up? Around 6 o'clock?
6. I took a second and walked through the house looking for him in case he'd gotten up and was trying to get breakfast or something, because he did that sometimes. About 3 minutes in, give or take, I was on the phone with my husband. I said, "I can't find him." He said, "What do you mean you can't find him?" I said, "He's not in the house."
While we were on the phone, and I was like, is he on the other side of the bed? The normal places he may be in the house, and he wasn't. So I was like, okay, well, hold on a minute. And immediately after that, we called the sheriff's department and made the report.
I ran all over the house, outside, inside. I looked in every closet.
Within minutes, they were here. They responded within minutes, and here we go.
So you said you were on the phone with her, so
Yes,
you were not home.
No, ma'am. Okay. I was at work. I'm a tower crane operator, and I was working in Memphis at the St. Jude project. So it's, I have an earpiece in that talks to my phone. I have another earpiece in that does the radios. So when she was talking to me, it was like, what? I was confused. We talked about where he could possibly be, and then we went from there and led to calling the cops, and here we are now.
It was rapid fire. They had cars. They had cars from here down to the
main
road, as far as I could tell. Sunday, we were out and about. We had a really good day. We were out doing our thing, running around. We had dinner that evening, and when we came home, we had a pretty good evening together as well. He was playing right up until bedtime, and then some. I let him stay up a little late. And when I told him to go to bed, he's like, "I love you, Mom. I love you, puppies." And he went to bed. And I went to bed around midnight. Everything seemed fine. And when I went to wake him up for school, that's when I couldn't find him. He wasn't in his room, and he wasn't in the house. And that's when I panicked. First thing I did was call my husband, and I said, "He's not here." My husband said, "What do you mean he's not here?" I said, "He's not in the house." And he said, immediately just started, "Did you check here? Did you check there? Did you look here?" And I ran through the house, and at that point I was hysterical, for lack of a word. And we three-wayed the police, and I'm within minutes they were here. I couldn't tell you exactly how long. I know it was fast. And we haven't found him.
When I got the phone call that he was missing, Like she said, we asked questions like, where's he at? Check this, check that. And then we called the sheriff's department. After we called the sheriff's department, I stayed on the phone pretty much most of the time. And then while I was at work, I asked for a relief, got a relief, got in my truck from Memphis and made my way to Nashville. The morning that he was missing, yes.
Okay.
Initially, I was like, oh, he's goofing around again. Here we go. He's like hiding. And then when we talked about the places to check and he's not there, I was like, okay, stop. Instantly. Call the police. Instantly. I'm a black and white kind of guy. So.
And then I went back to the first and I'm like, okay, this is a child with a chromosome disorder who's just spent this crazy day, and you go in there to wake him up early, but he's gone to dinner. You're talking about how he doesn't like to be clean. He likes to be clean, or he doesn't clean himself or whatever. And he's a 15-year-old boy. You never mentioned a bath. You never mentioned medication. You just told him to go to bed. So you send him to school dirty and wait, okay, let's go to the next interview. And then it changed.
Sure. Sebastian comes home, gets off the school bus, comes in the house, does his chores, completes his homework, eats dinner. That time kind of varies. I don't have a set time on that. Bedtime, we normally have it right around 8:30, 9 o'clock. Sebastian gets a shower most of the time before he goes to bed, around 7 o'clock ish. But then, like I said, he's in the bed by 9 o'clock.
Mixed answer on that. So overall, yes, he does much better when he is on a regular routine. And thank you. So like for getting up at about the same time every day and having the same routine to get up and get ready to get out the door, and nighttime routine, taking medicine, taking shower, getting ready for bed, same thing in the morning, getting up, brush your chair, brush your teeth, put
Okay, guys, I'll rewind it back just a little bit so we can, hear Katie's whole thing. But, she's talking about this nighttime routine, but she never talked about it before, right? She just makes, jokes about how, oh, is he wearing deodorant? Well, you still have to take a shower and, and then put deodorant too. And so, because that way you're clean, and Sebastian liked to be clean. And so it's just very odd that she never mentions this before, but here she goes, you know, spouting off this routine all of a sudden.
You just told him to go to bed. So you send him to school dirty and wait, okay, let's go to the next interview. And then it changed.
Sure. Sebastian comes home, gets off the school bus, comes in the house, does his chores, completes his homework, eats dinner. That time kind of varies. I don't have a set time on that. Bedtime, we normally have it right around 8:30, 9 o'clock. Sebastian gets a shower most of the time before he goes to bed, around 7 o'clock ish. But then, like I said, he's in the bed by 9 o'clock.
Mixed answer on that. So overall, yes, he does much better when he is on a regular routine. And thank you. So like for getting up at about the same time every day and having the same routine to get up and get ready to get out the door, and nighttime routine, taking medicine, taking shower, getting ready for bed, same thing in the morning, getting up, brush your chair, brush your teeth, put your clothes on, make your bed, take your medicine, get your backpack, are you hungry? Do you want to take food for lunch, or do you want school lunch? That type of thing. And then, he leaves at the same time every day. But at the same time, it's like after school, once, if we've got to go to the store, it's not a huge problem if it's all of a sudden like, oh no, we need to run to the grocery store, so he's easily able to do that for the most part. So yes, he's able to just like go run some errands and things like that, but he's also, for the most part, we try to keep him on a regular routine so that he's he functions better. You know, if you have sporadic bedtimes and everything, then he starts having more, you know, difficulty with being on track and on task and everything, or he'll, you know, he doesn't really sleep very well. So his sleep routine has never been specific, but it's, you know, it's downtime, it's quiet time, it's, you know, you remove the stimulus, you know, screen time shuts off at the same time every day so that you have that, you know, decompression time. And, you know, we have the, you know, the night lights and the little fidgets for the self-stimming and everything, because that's, you know, you can't make them just do nothing, but it's, you know, it's turning off all the screens and you know, okay, we're going to be quiet. You know, I understand you're not necessarily going to sleep, but you're going to lay in the bed and relax, you know.
Well, I had a son that needed medication, and overstimulation during the day and bathing had to be done at night, because in the morning that was an impossibility. And after a weekend, and especially a day like that, that would be a necessity, because 15-year-old boys sweat a lot and they do not smell pretty.
And
That's
going
not
into
enough time to have breakfast, take a bath, and
right. I mean, boys just don't do that.
no, they don't. But I mean, I'm just thinking these things as a mother when my son was 15 who had some issues. And I'm thinking, okay. And in one interview that she had mentioned that when he's not home, the dogs sleep with her. And then that changed completely. And I'm like writing these things down. I'm like, this is not driving. I'm like, no, I'm not going to believe this. I'm not going there. I refuse. But he still kept controlling everything.
Your dogs barked during your first TV interview. Wouldn't they have barked when Sebastian walked out the door?
No, because they know Sebastian. When they barked in the first interview,
Because a stranger was in the
a stranger was in the house.
They've been sitting right here the entire time.
Yeah.
And you had no argument with Sebastian that night?
No, ma'am.
You stated you put the dogs away into a crate before you went to bed. Is the crate located near the exit, near a door?
No, ma'am.
Would the dogs have barked if there had been an intruder or if Sebastian had left?
The dogs don't typically bark at me and Sebastian because they're used to us. Even if we get up, we come around, they don't typically bark. Strangers, they do tend to bark, at least for a minute or two to get attention. But no, ma'am, they don't typically bark at Sebastian and myself or Christopher.
What kind of dogs are they?
Morkies.
Question: where is their crate located?
In the area near my sunroom.
Over by
in
the kitchen.
Your son's. Okay, hold on. Is
No,
it
son,
outside your
son.
son's room?
No, ma'am. Not
Sunroom.
Sebastian's room. Son, yeah, yes, ma'am.
The sunroom, and that's not near the door?
No, ma'am.
Not near the front door.
It's near my back door, but not any of the other doors.
Yes, from what I've seen, the layout of the home, it is near the back door, and they would have heard someone coming in and out that back door, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
No barking. Do you have a chime or anything on your doors that would alert you to the door opening?
No, ma'am.
Miss Grace, could I jump
Question.
in for something?
Yes, please. And I want to follow up with a question regarding Miss Proudfoot's polygraph. But please, Lauren, jump in. Everybody on the panel. Now is the time to ask the Proudfoots any question that may shed light on what has happened to Sebastian. We are not in a judging arena. We are in a fact-finding arena. We can then assimilate the facts and make deductions. Please jump in.
Wherever you are. I would say wherever you are across the country, because I know there's people all over the place watching. just to, like, if you're out and about and you have flyers, just keep asking businesses to spread them. Some chains will spread them to their other stores.
I just wish I could give you a hug right now.
Oh, you'd have to fight the ankle biters. Well, we got two of them, and one of them was supposed to kind of like be mine, and however, they bunch of traitors. I mean, they when I'm not home, she just lets them sleep in the bed. I get home, y'all are in the pen. Exactly.
Yep. Because I wanted to help. I wanted him found. I wanted him found for my Aunt Suzanne. I wanted him found for Katie. And then so I was digging. I'm like, okay, what can I find out that would help them? So I started with the interviews, like I said. And then the Nancy Grace one, and I'm like, okay, I can't believe this. And my stomach just dropped. I'm like, now I want him found for my Aunt Suzanne and his dad, because this man keeps controlling this whole interview, and it is impossible to keep up with a lie. She's having trouble keeping up with her story, so he's controlling this whole narrative. And then, everything just he would call. I watched one thing where he called, I can't remember what channel it is, and I'm not going to mention any channels, pretending to be Billy Bob Thornton from Sling Blade.
I am back working, and I have work hours. I also have to sleep. And unfortunately, I'm on the opposite schedule of you. So respect that.
I heard y'all giving away them T-shirts. What's that boy's name? Sebastian. Well, how you gonna get one of them shirts out? I mean, what do you got to do? There's a little boy missing. It's sad story. It's sad them kids go missing. The worst part is, I heard that story where people talking about the parents and stuff. It's real bad. I don't know. They got no what do they call evidence on that boy yet?
No, they don't have any evidence on him yet.
Well, unfortunately, this actually may or may not. I don't know yet. May be the last interview I probably can go do. I don't know yet. I'm not gonna say no, but I will probably go dark for a while just because one, I got some more personal business coming up that.
We've talked a whole damn lot, but we hadn't really talked much about Sebastian, and I think that would be something good to, talk more about him. I mean, what?
Yeah.
And like, what kind of person who's looking for their stepson does that? And then calling, and I heard him on one channel where he said something about, screaming about the PI and threatening Seth's life over something that the PI did not release. It was another channel that released it about Katie's childhood, which I felt was not right. Nobody had any business releasing that. That was her personal childhood, and that just wasn't right. That wasn't nice. It wasn't cool. Details should not be released. That was not right.
Right.
To hold up pictures, and no, that was so wrong. Yeah. And I don't care who you are. That's wrong. To dig that up and show it right on the screen, that's below low.
Oh, he watches Wheel of Fortune with me. He don't never guess the puzzles. But I'm trying to remember the name of the other one that he likes watching. It's the one with the whammies.
Press your luck.
Press your luck.
Press your luck. He likes that one too.
Big bucks, big bucks, no way.
That used to be one of my favorites.
He sits in here, no whammies.
On the 25th, eats breakfast. They get a call from, I guess, maybe the aunt. They go pick up his cousin, they say.
Well, it depends, because depending on who you listen to, either Katie went to pick them up or Melissa went to pick them up. So okay. I don't know.
Well,
Sunday, the day before he went missing, we got up and, fun fact, I made breakfast that morning. We had a good time. We were laughing, we were joking. He talked to family on the phone during breakfast to brag. We went and picked up our niece. Yeah, I got a call and asked if I could go and pick her up, and I did. And so we went and did that. We went to BJ's. Had a good time there. He ate a colossal popcorn. Came home to put groceries away because we bought snacks because, he's 15 and snacks. We went to the bowling alley. And then from there, we went to dinner. Came home. He took out the trash because that's his chore. He takes the can to the end of the driveway. About 9 o'clock, told him to go to bed. And he come out of his room where he was playing. And he said, "All right, good night, Mama. Good night, puppies. I love you." And went to bed. He was doing something in his room because about an hour later I heard some noise and I was like, "I don't care what you're doing in there, but go to sleep." And about midnight I got up and I went to bed. And 6 o'clock I went to wake him up for school Monday morning. And that's when he went in here. To censor myself, holy freaking crap, this can't be happening. Where is my kid? Choice words were used. Like, where the F is he? I had looked through the house for him because it was typical for him to get up and come and rummage for snacks and things like that. And he likes to dip behind the, walls and watch, and then he comes out after I come back and he likes to scare me. But after I looked, and I mean, mind you, all of this took place in like 1 minute flat, but I didn't see him in his room. I looked all over. I ran through the whole house. I looked out all the doors and windows, and I was like hollering his name. And I picked up the phone and I called my husband and I said, "I can't find him." And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "He's not in this effing house. I can't find our son." And I jumped in my car and I drove around the neighborhood and I drove over by the school, and he's already at this point I was like hysterical and I was crying, I was screaming, and he three-wayed. He three-wayed law enforcement and was telling them our son is missing and we don't know what's going on. And he was like, "Go back to the house. They're on their way." And I drove back to the house. And 20 days later, we haven't found him.
Yeah. Sunday morning, I'll just start at the morning. Sunday morning, we got up and I made a fun breakfast for us, spaghetti pancakes. Google it, y'all. We FaceTime family while we were eating so he could brag because that's something he likes to do. And we were laughing and joking on FaceTime and having a good time with that. After breakfast, we got a call to go pick up our niece and go take her to meet up. So we did that. We went and picked her up and we met her mom at BJ's, and we were there with family members. We come home and put our groceries away, and then a little bit later we went to the bowling alley, a local bowling alley here, and we played games. And then this is just Bubba and I, and we went to dinner, just the two of us, and then come home. He took the trash out because that's his chore. And he come in and he was playing in his room until bedtime. And at bedtime, I told him, I said, "Hey, Bubba, it's time to go to bed." And he goes, "Okay, good night, Mama, I love you." And then he said goodnight to his puppies. and he went to bed.
Okay. And walk me through what happened. You said that you were on a phone call, you were on the couch, and then you went to bed at midnight. Walk me through exactly what transpired during that time before you went to bed at midnight for you.
So, well, my husband, he works out of town a lot. So, we normally sit and talk every evening, and I normally fall asleep on him. And he'll tell me, wake up, you got to go to bed. And and that was right around midnight. So I got up and I put the puppies up and I went to bed myself at midnight. And, I went to sleep, obviously. And then at 6 a.m., I went to wake him up for school, and that's when I couldn't find him. And sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Take your time. Take your time. Tell me, did Sebastian take any type of medication before he went to bed, or that would make him sleepy, or if he did take medication, it was just in the morning, or did he take medication at night before he went to bed?
He did take medication nightly and daily.
Okay.
But for HIPAA reasons, we will not disclose.
I understand.
What the medication is.
He went out the window versus he went out the door. How did the door get locked? That you found the door locked? Can you walk me through exactly what that looks like and what you found? Was the door locked? What do you think may have occurred for him walking off versus
Well, I'll tell you this.
with someone? Okay.
We didn't find any signs of the windows, but and without disclosing the details of my door locks, I will say that Sebastian regularly and consistently went out and locked the door behind himself.
Okay.
I was gonna say, so
Nobody has story straight. So it's like, if your stories aren't matching and your stories aren't straight, then at least one of you are lying.
Thinking back on it, is there anything you can think of that seemed off or out of the ordinary prior to him going missing that during the night before you noticed he was missing?
I honestly didn't notice anything that was like, oh my God, that's weird. I mean, we had a really good day. He wasn't in trouble at all. We went to bed on a good note. And I don't know if maybe he just wasn't saying something, but nothing. And I've gone over this so many times. I'm ill, but I didn't see or notice anything that was like red flag,
Okay.
He didn't have any meltdowns or anything like that seemed off.
No, he was actually really well behaved that day. He was even keel for the most part all day.
Well,
Because
I'll give
I
you.
was hysterical and screaming and crying and frantic.
I'll give you.
I was hysterical and screaming and crying and frantic. And so he told me to mute my phone, and he's the one that actually called because at that point I couldn't even make words anymore.
So your car's in the same place. You get in the car, you start looking in the neighborhood for him. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Then you call Mr. Proudfoot, right?
I believe I was already on the phone with him at that point.
Okay. Many people have asked me, why did Miss Proudfoot not call 911 immediately? And here's your chance to answer that.
Because by the time I realized my son was missing and I called my husband at that point, I was hysterical.
I was at the point where I couldn't even form words anymore, and my husband is the one who remained calm enough to call them.
Who called 911?
I did.
You did.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
time?
Without looking at a call log, I can give you the exact time, but on or about 6:20.
And had you guys been talking on the phone before 6 a.m. or did you initially call Mr. Prophet at the time you realized Sebastian was gone?
I called him when I realized Sebastian was gone.
Other than you, Miss Proudfoot, who is the last person that saw or heard Sebastian alive the Sunday before he went missing?
Two of his aunts, a cousin, and the staff where we had dinner. So BJ's, and then we went to the bowling alley, and then after the bowling alley, we went to dinner before coming home.
There's several that are saying they admire your strength, Katie.
I don't feel very strong, but thank you. I'm struggling. Truth be told, I'm struggling. At the end of the day, I just want to find my baby.
Right.
I know he'd get mad at me. I'm not baby. Well, you're always my baby, so.
They're always your baby. I
Come home.
have a 31-year-old and
It's his latest thing when I say something that he doesn't like. He goes, "Mom,"
oh my goodness.
or when he's really annoyed, he goes, "Mom." I can't imitate his voice because it's deeper than mine now, but that's how he does it, and I'm just like, "What?" And then I usually try to smother him in kisses while he squirrels to get away, and he's like, "Get off me."
Question to you guys. When police came in and processed your home, did they look with, for instance, luminol? Did they check? What did they do when they searched your home?
They thoroughly searched my home with many different things. They removed some things for the dogs to hold the scent, and for Sebastian's DNA. I know that they used thermal
Night imagery.
night vision. Thank you. And I don't know exactly all of the tools that they use, but I do know that multiple different searches were done on my home by many different people, detectives, sheriffs, and a few others.
Yeah, I wouldn't swear that the forensics folks showed up or not, because there were so many folks in and out of the house that it was just, "Hi, I'm so-and-so with law enforcement. I'm so-and-so with law enforcement." Okay.
Every time they've said we need to look, or please do.
Does Sebastian have a hardwood floor or a carpeted floor?
In his bedroom, carpet.
Yes. Carpeting.
Carpet.
Did they remove any carpeting?
No, ma'am.
Do you feel confident they searched his bathroom?
They did.
Yes, ma'am, they did.
When you state that they removed items for the scent dogs, what did they take?
Clothing, a blanket that he used like every day, and a few other items of his, toiletries, like his brush.
Make no mistake, Sebastian Rogers missing is not yet a cold case. The TBI, along with the FBI and the Sumner County Sheriff, tell me that it remains an active case. But authorities also say they are no closer to solving the mystery of what happened to Sebastian. In recent weeks, the most recent tip that turned out to be nothing was this photograph taken at a visitor center in North Carolina. That lookalike teen was identified and confirmed not to be Sebastian. Since then, things have been quiet.
We're doing everything we can do. Every time a tip comes in, we follow up on it.
Eric Craddock is chief deputy with the Sumner County Sheriff's Office and heads up the investigation. 100 days since Sebastian disappeared is a milestone, but Craddock says no one is giving up. Unfortunately, the number of tips or potential sightings reported have gone down in recent weeks. There are no more random search efforts by authorities, but based on the investigation and search efforts to date, they do have a body of work to review.
I think in the absence of information, what we'll continue to do is go back over everything we've already done once, put a fresh set of eyes on it.
Maybe someone with a fresh outlook will notice something in the search area that others have missed. In the meantime, Craddock says they keep in touch with Sebastian's parents, who continue to cooperate, having talked to them just this past week. Everyone is frustrated over the lack of new leads, which unfortunately still result in crazy conspiracy theories.
Oh, the rumor mill on social media has done nothing to advance this case.
When something significant does happen, we will hear about it first from authorities, not from armchair detectives on social media. For now, investigators say all options remain on the table, including the possibility still of foul play.
I can tell you things that he told to me. Like on the first day, he looked at me and, he hadn't even been back for like 2 hours or 3 hours. And he looked at me, what are you going to do if this goes south? And I looked at him, I said, what are you talking about if I go south? What are you going to do if he's dead? And I'm going to walk out of this house because if I do anything else, they'll put me in handcuffs right now.
Yeah.
How dare you even think that my son is dead? If there was a thud in my house, we'll go check it out.
You would think. She said she was right in the living room.
But see, her.
Yeah, guys, I just can't even believe that Chris had the, nerve to say that. And, it's just amazing to me that they're still out when things like that were happening the day that Sebastian went missing. It's ludicrous.
Say all options remain on the table, including the possibility still of foul play.
I can tell you things that he told to me. Like on the first day, he looked at me and, he hadn't even been back for like 2 hours or 3 hours. And he looked at me, what are you going to do if this goes south? And I looked at him, I said, what are you talking about if I go south? What are you going to do if he's dead? And I'm going to walk out of this house because if I do anything else, they'll put me in handcuffs right now.
Yeah.
How dare you even think that my son is dead? If there was a thud in my house, we'll go check it out.
You would think. She said she was right in the living room.
But see, her whole description of that is the whole reason why if you're a true parent, you're going to go check on your kid.
He does have a lot of personality. I mean, he's got that teenage attitude going on where he's all over the place. So one minute he's angry, and next minute he's laughing and joking, and the next minute he's like, "I'm going to my room." What are you doing? Nothing. I don't want to know.
Such a sweet
But
baby.
he's still young at heart too, like mentally he's young. He still likes to play with his Legos, and he likes.
Hey, I'll play with Legos. Watch out.
Yeah.
To take it, I took the. Actually, did you take the one with Nancy Grace yet?
No, it's Wednesday.
Go ahead.
I haven't TBI that I can't take it yet.
Say that one more time.
Said I haven't heard from TBI.
Oh. Okay, I got it. Or perhaps you guys going to tell you that you can't go on the Nancy Grace show as well.
I don't know. Maybe they'll tell me it violates HIPAA.
Let me know.
Do you think Chris and Katie know more about what happened with Sebastian going missing than they've told people?
I don't know. But when a person's not forthcoming with information, or whenever they tell the story, things change.
Yeah.
You have to ask yourself why.
I'm so sorry that it took a podcast for Chris to basically open up and then try to put his tail between his legs on Nancy Grace.
It wouldn't even be open up because the way he spoke, he gloated about it.
Did it ever cross your mind that that Katie might have been involved?
Absolutely.
And I wanted you to speak to that.
No, and that's fine. Absolutely not. I would not. There's nothing in me, nothing I would ever think that the mother had anything to do with this, or the father for that matter. None of his parents, any of us would have ever done anything to Sebastian to do this, remotely conjure up. No way. No. This boy has got so much love. That right there kind of hurts me a little bit to think that somebody would think that I would suspect my wife of having ill intent, and that's no.
Said, why not ask Katie if she suspected Chris? It's her bio son. And I think they just clarified that all of the parents agree. And of course, we do have Seth in chat. And you did say, Chris, all three of you agree that none of the parents are involved in the disappearance of Sebastian. Seth, if you want to comment in the chat, you certainly are free to speak and say whatever you feel. Katie, obviously you said you weren't even in town, but Katie, did you have anything that you suspected when this happened? Did you immediately say, well, I think so-and-so might have something to do with it?
Honestly, no. I mean, my husband was out of town and had been for a while, and even if he wasn't, I don't think for a second he would ever hurt him. And if his dad wanted him, he wouldn't have to take him. He'd just call and say, hey, I want to pick my son up. And I'd say, okay, what time? And, the only stipulation is that we don't miss school. So, I mean, I wouldn't have thought anything about that either because we have, our own differences, but that doesn't matter. When it comes to Sebastian, we're pretty good about, hey, I want to have him this weekend, or I've got this thing going on. And like, we juggle and change weekends sometimes if we've got something that we want to do, or vice versa. So no.
Kinky Ad said, how did Katie not notice him in the kitchen when she didn't find him in bed, and then said she thought maybe he was making breakfast, that your room is by the kitchen?
Yes. But he liked to dip around walls, and he did his little sneaky thing.
I understand.
About Katie taking the decal off of the side of her car for Sebastian. Did you see it?
No, I didn't see her do it, but it doesn't surprise me.
I'll show you. I made a video, just quickly putting them side by side. Let me just take this down. So see her car there on the left has the decal, but now, and this was just taken like today or yesterday.
And that's decal for Canadians.
Oh, decal, right?
Sunny's so cute here. So guys, yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier. About them taking the decal or the magnetic flyer that was, that they had been given, or to put on the vehicles. They had taken them off, and this is what I was talking about earlier. So I just kind of wanted to point that out. Just absolutely awful to think that parents would do that, and then also, why would they? Only one reason why, in my opinion.
Sorry, Sonny.
No, Canadian, eh? Okay, so yeah, so my thing is this. Okay, so we were talking about this a little earlier. So my thing is this: is that
The only one.
like, pardon?
She's not the only one. Chris's mother is taking them all off of her vehicle too.
Isn't that like, what the F, right? Like, is this about
They-
Sebastian or them?
They don't care.
Honestly, like this. So we were talking about this earlier when I played this, because it really, this is the first thing I noticed when I seen JLR put up this video of the one without, I was like, well, where's the deco? Okay. And then all of a sudden, so I went to go find the other one because I knew that it was on there, but I wanted to show it visually to people. And to me, I'm like, the reason why they would take it off is because they don't want anyone to know. To me, that's making it about themselves, as always. That's what it seems to be. Like, this is about your child. So you're going to care more about the fact that you don't want people to know that that's you there? Or is this about Sebastian being missing and your child? So why would anyone give a shit unless they're egos? Because this is your son that you're looking for, right? Remember, Katie? You said, well, Sebastian just could be anywhere. That's why I'm up here with Chris 3 hours away and I've left home. Bullshit. It keeps being about them, not Sebastian. And it's pissing me off. Is it pissing you?
Completely.
This is okay. Yes. Bravo. Thank you so much for coming. I called you to report a crime that I don't have nothing to do with. Okay.
Oh, this is a first.
I'm not involved in the crime. I didn't perpetrate the crime. I didn't do anything. Hypothetically, if I had,
Let's get to that.
had done it.
Oh, hypothetically?
Just hypothetically speaking,
If you
let's say I
had
did.
done it, get your ass in the car. Hypothetically speaking, you're about to get your salad tossed in prison.
So, the $1 million question, why did he go? And the other $1 million question is how.
I'm your defense attorney, okay? Is to get you acquitted of all charges.
All charges.
Well,
That's that's $1 million question.
I mean, what you want to just say to that question is no, I did not.
Okay, guys. So in this episode, we get a chance to hear from someone on Katie's mom's side of the.
All right. So I won't go through that. That there's the whole video, if you wanted to hear the commentary, but of course I'm going to do some commentary here, so I'll just stop it there. But it's kind of fun to look back on some of the older videos that I put together, especially when there's so many comparisons. Bringing Seth into the mix too, I think it's important in order to kind of see what all of the parents were saying and when. The narrative that was being pushed was that there was a great co-parenting relationship between Sebastian, between Seth and Chris and Katie, right? Like they all got along great and everybody was cordial to each other or whatever. Sorry, I'm trying to find a good spot for myself here. There we go. And they were able to talk to each other, and there was no issues. And I kind of called it, I think I said hunky dory earlier. Everything's just hunky dory. Well, it turns out that it wasn't that way. And of course, with the stress of Sebastian, I don't like saying going missing, but that's what we call it. But with the stress of him being missing, it probably amplified some bad blood. But if they would have came out and said that in the beginning, it would have been much different. But they were trying to push a lot of different narratives forward. One that sticks out to me also is the narrative that Sebastian was so young in mind and that his mind hadn't caught up to his body yet. Katie said that about him playing with the Legos. But there's a lot of kids that enjoy Legos, and there's a lot of Legos that are pretty elaborate, right? When you're trying to put them together, it's something that you build out. So, in my opinion, it's like a puzzle, and people do puzzles for their whole life, right? We play games on our phone, puzzle games, whatever. And so I found that to be interesting too. In the beginning, they were also trying to say that Sebastian wasn't as social as we found out that he was at his dad's. So it was like they were trying to hide what they were doing to Sebastian at their house, and they were trying to get Seth on the same page. All the while they were saying things like, "Well, what if this goes south?" and things like that to Seth. Um, in my opinion, I think they were trying to. I think that when Chris said that to Seth, he was trying to push him over the edge, right? Because I've said myself, if someone said that to me and it was where my child had gone missing from and it was the step parent, I probably would have swung on them because I would have been so mad at that they said something like that. So I think that they were pushing Seth to that level. And thank God he didn't take the bait, right? Thank God he was smarter than that. Thank God he had more restraint. Because I think that's what they were trying to do. And they're also trying very hard to convince the public that they are good people and that Sebastian wasn't in trouble, right? Um, and that Katie could talk for herself and that Chris wasn't in town and all of these things. But then we find out that that's not entirely true. Right, and that we find that Chris will, tell on himself, Katie will tell on herself. Yada came out and told a lot, especially, when around that time, Steve Fisher, in my opinion, was pushing the narrative that, Seth was the big bad wolf and Katie was just this unsuspecting poor little, person who didn't wanna marry Seth, and then we find out that that's not true. And so I just thought this would be interesting to go over and listen to tonight, especially to kind of give my voice a little bit of a break. Um, but I'm so glad you guys were all here with me tonight, and I appreciate you all very, very much and sharing in the chat. Um, your personal experiences are so important in order for us to understand more of what people go through. And um, I just think that a lot of the responses that we see from the proud feet are not normal, and I think we can all kind of agree on that, but then also some of them are just downright obscene, and we highlighted some of that tonight as well. So, I will see you all tomorrow, probably around 1 or 2 PM, just because I think we kind of stayed a little bit longer than I wanted to, but that's okay. I wanted to go over all of this with you guys. I really appreciate all of you being here and letting me know your thoughts on the case. Faye says Chris Sebastian is more. Yeah, this is a good this is a good way to end the live. Chris Sebastian is more of a man than you'll ever never be, in my opinion. Faye, absolutely well said. Absolutely well said. Seclusion works. Chris, you have a bigger problem. Us, Sebastian's army, we won't let him go until we learn what happened to Sebastian. That's right. That's right. Robini, are you snoozing? she she snoozed on us. No, thank you, Robini, so much for all of the reminders in the chat tonight too. Really important, because there's so much stuff. I mean, there's so much. Um, you know, there's far too much. Um, so and thank you, Mama Davis. Thank you guys all for being here. Lana, thank you so much. Mama Bear, really appreciate you guys very, very, very much. Holly S. Seclusion Work Cinderella, Faye, of course. I'm just scrolling up in the chat, Coffee, Crime, and Cats. Yes, thank you for being here, Town Chat. I think had went to bed earlier, but I really enjoy all of you guys and your commentary and chatting back and forth. Just thank you all for being here, everyone in the bushes too. Have a great night. Thank you all very, very, very much.